Welcome to Nintendo Dads, episode 470, recorded on March 21st, 2024. On this week's episode, with special guest Barry Carenza from Nintendo Fuse and Premium Playcast Podcast, as well as Premium Edition Games, we talk about Justin's quest to host a Nintendo Direct, Marty going on a cross-country tour, Jesse's Pajama Jammy Jams, and why I don't know what I'm doing. Jesse, you know what to do.
What is up, everybody? It's Nintendo Dads, episode 470, coming at you March the 21st, 2024, on the eve of the most important Nintendo Switch release of its 8-year history, Princess Peach Showtime. Joining me,
month.
Yeah, it's just a month, and maybe the week. Joining me on the show tonight is our usual cast of characters. Mine is Justin, Jesse, and Tim. But also joining us, as Tim has already said, a very special guest, Barry Carenza. How are you doing, buddy? We're going through you first.
That's always a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me back. Doing well. Only on Life is certainly throwing its little curveballs, but it's all good and all fun, and lots of good stuff.
Absolutely. And one of the good things that you mentioned in the pre-show chat is that you are now a full-fledged Nintendo dad.
I am. Yes, finally. Every other time I came on this, I didn't have a child, but now I do. So I get that.
Really, it's about to be a requirement. Like we're gonna have it in the contract. You have to check a checkbox. Do you have a child? If you don't, if you've never birthed a child, produced a child, kept a child, you can't be on the Nintendo Dads podcast anymore. It would work for foster parents, regular parent, or whatever parents, biological parents, whatever. But
Do pets
you gotta
count?
be a parent.
Do pets count?
Fur
babies.
You know what, fur babies? I'll tell you.
I'm not
for a
gonna.
long time. It's real.
Yeah.
It's
Marty's keeping his mouth shut on that one.
Sure they count. Sure, that's fine. Yeah. Tim, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing pretty good. It was I was telling Jesse in the pre-show, or not so much of a pre-show because we had
the unrecorded pre-show,
that I was tired, and so I tried to take a little cat nap. And man, it's harder when you get older to take a cat nap because it's harder to wake up from. You're like, oh, I
always I'm constantly thinking about like yeah, I got to get up in 20 minutes, or now it's like, I got to get up in 15 minutes.
You're counting down in your head and just you can't relax.
Yes. It's like when you wake up, 30 minutes before your alarm and you roll over and see that number and you're like,
yeah, you could just get up, but you don't, it's just like, cause you're trying to milk whatever time you got left.
Yeah. You think maybe I'll go right back to sleep, and you never do.
Right.
Because usually when you do that, you get like there's the overwhelming urge. You have to go to the bathroom, and you get up, and I used to I would be up, and I'd be like, my parents would be like, we're tired. And I'd be like, why are you tired? Just go to sleep, stay asleep. And my dad would be like, one of these days you'll understand. You can't just sleep in. I just wake up at a certain time every day, and I'm there. And it sucks. Like my body has this internal clock now that says 6:30 a.m. Why?
my wife is like that. Like she normally gets up around 5:30 or 6 anyway, but she's taking, let's say, a week off and isn't setting an alarm, and she's still up at like 4:30 or 5.
The worst feeling in the world is to know that you don't have to set an alarm, and you're like, yeah, but I'll be up at 6:30 in the morning anyway.
Now, question, Marty, have you tried staying up later? Like, what if you stay up later and go to bed later? Will you sleep past that?
If I go to bed any later, it will be the next day.
No, that's fine.
I'm a night owl.
Yeah, but
I'm a
but I
night
mean,
owl, so I
2
usually
o'clock, 3
go to
o'clock in the
bed
morning.
around 11. But see, the thing is, I'm just tired. I'm worn down by 11. 11:30, whatever, 12. So I go to bed, and probably doesn't help that I lay in bed and look at my phone for an hour
That
or
does not
two
help.
or whatever. It
But
doesn't.
of course, I do the
And-
same thing.
Yeah, and well,
We all do.
yeah, right. So yeah. Anyway, Jesse, how about you, man? How you doing this week?
Doing pretty good. I was again talking with Tim about some complications at work I've been having with certain groups of people, but won't
Hopefully
get into
they
it
don't
here. I don't think anyone there listens.
Yeah.
Until
I just
now.
started saying I would complain about stuff, but nobody's going to listen to me anyway. So nobody cares.
I
But anyway,
actually did get my way in this in today's argument, so I was proud of myself.
Mark that down as a win.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, here's a win. We get to do a podcast together tonight, and there's actually a smattering, a smidgen, a smackerel, as Winnie the Pooh would say, of news to talk about tonight. So, Jesse, you know what to do. Just a smackerel. Our news is brought to us each and every week by you guys over at patreon.com/Nintendo Dads. We want to say a huge thanks to each and every one of you who support us over there, whether you're $1 a month patron, $5, $10, or $30 a month patron producer. We love you guys, and we are so thankful for you. And all of the people, whatever level that you back us at over on patreon.com/Nintendo Dads, everyone gets the best bonus, I think, is an ad-free version of the show. You get your own feed right there in Patreon. You can plug into your podcast catcher of choice, and you get the ad-free, and you don't have to listen to like embarrassing ad reads about Manscaped and balls and all kinds of other stuff like that.
Unless you want to double support like Drew does. Drew
Unless you want to do
double
that,
supports by doing both.
or the thing is that in the ad-free version, you still have to hear us talk about patreon.com/Nintendo Dads. So I don't know that it's really ad-free. Other than that, though, hey, you also don't get all those inserted ads that we do now, which are weird. Like somebody was telling me they were getting ads for like bail bonding and everything. And I was like, hey, okay, we're really a parenting show.
Or Spanish ads, even though they don't speak Spanish.
Hola.
I've had that happen with Nintendo voice chat before.
Right.
Yeah, so now with us having internet, we've cut the cable off too, or we didn't have cable because we didn't have anything. We cut off our direct TV, and imagine our surprise the first time we're using Hulu Live, and we're sitting there, and all of a sudden, bang! A Spanish ad comes up for Tide Pods, and I was like, "Whoa! What did something just change?" And nope. You just get some Spanish ads, and there's no way to change it.
Yep.
It just switches into Spanish mode every now and then,
You need to learn Spanish now.
Apparently, it's a good skill to have.
Do you eat Taco Bell?
I do. I had Taco Bell
Taco
earlier
Supri.
today. I had Taco Bell earlier today, and they messed my order up. And guess what? They went back and they made it right in the best way.
Well, see, I think my problem is I drive through everything whenever I take out.
Yeah.
And so I don't know it's messed up until I'm home. And most of the time, it's really not even
I
worth
wouldn't have
fighting it.
known either. But this morning, my wife was with me. She happened to check our bag and found out that they had left out the best part of the order, which is the Cinnabon Delights.
Oh, those are so good.
Oh my gosh. I don't know, like whatever pact that they made with Satan himself to have the best side item in fast food. I don't know. But anyway.
It's cracked cream cheese.
In fact, I had a Wendy's order this afternoon messed up, but I kind of got an upgrade, so I didn't complain.
Well,
instead of getting a small fry, I got a 4-piece nugget.
Well, it's that surge pricing. That's what got you.
The other two items I ordered were spot on.
So they left out some of our Cinnabons. So I went back and went through the drive-thru, and I was like, "Hey, so we ordered 4 combos, and we only got 2 Cinnabons." And they're like, "Pull around, we got you." And so they gave me the missing Cinnabons and they were like, hey, you came right at the end of breakfast. So we just threw all of our extra hash browns in a bag and gave them to you. And that
Holy
we
crap.
opened the bag and there was like 7 hash browns in there. So guess what we had
Wow.
with our dinner tonight? Thank you,
Nice.
Taco Bell. Yo quiero hash browns. Anyway, let's talk about the news. Y'all head over to patreon.com/Nintendo Dads. Jump into the best community on the internet. Guys, do y'all remember Mario Maker on the Wii U?
Yes.
Yes. There's
Yeah.
a good
My
one.
nephew, when he comes over, plays it all the time.
Yeah, so I as I call it, the superior version of Mario Maker, because of the amiibo support and the little icons and all that, great. So Mario Maker on the Wii U, y'all know online servers for Wii U are shutting down in about 3 weeks.
What?
Yeah.
Yep.
What?
Yep.
No, I'm kidding. I knew.
Yes, you knew that, Tim. I don't have patience for that kind of crap. I'm just listen. So here's the deal. The Mario Maker Wii U community is strong, right? And they are trying to beat every level in Mario Maker that has been uploaded to the Wii U servers. And there are, as of tonight, 1 unbeaten level left, and there's less than 3 weeks for it to happen. It's called Trimming the Herbs, created by Oho. You have until April 8th. So if you have this game, I want to encourage you, join the fight and let's try to finish this. I'm assuming
I've
it's
heard
one of
other.
those Kaizo levels.
Well, I've heard from a YouTube channel that I follow. I don't remember which one. It's literally like a 10 or 15-second level. It's just blades everywhere, and every surface is a death surface. You have to do everything perfectly right.
Somebody's going to do it. Like, it's going to happen at this point. Like, it's got to. If it does not happen, Nintendo, I know you listen to this show. We have verifiable proof that people inside the walls of Nintendo listen to this show.
And Xbox.
Xbox. Listen, Phil Spencer, it's him. He's listening right now. He's in the chat.
Yep.
So anyway, here's the deal. I am imploring you, Nintendo, do not turn off the servers until this level is beaten. Now, don't go out. Now, Mario Maker community doesn't need to go out there and be like, oh, okay, well, great. But no, like, let's do this. That's almost, it's like a historical thing, right?
Marty, this sounds like something you could do. You could beat this, right?
No. I'm good at Mario, but I don't play Kaizo at all. I don't like that. I think
with so many people banging on this one level, I wonder what the play count looks like.
Right.
I want to see you stream it, Marty. I think that would be a good Nintendo Dad stream. You stream trying to beat this level.
I'll have to figure out how to hook my Wii U up to my just stream, because I have my Switch hooked up through one of the covert docks, so I don't have all the cords and stuff. So
use your Shadowcast. Do you get a Shadowcast?
Yeah, I do have a Shadowcast. I could do that. That's right. That's good. That's good. Good call there. But anyway, so we'll update you on if this gets done in time. Also, skipping forward a little bit to game release news. We'll go back to it too, but just a point of release here. This is the eve of Princess Peach Showtime coming out. March 22nd is the official street date for that. And the reason I mention that is because a couple of things. We actually have the first floor of the game uploaded to our YouTube channel right now. Jesse time traveled into the future because he is one of the regenerated Doctor Who's. I didn't know if anyone knew that or not, but he flew in his
spoilers.
He flew in his Kansas City TARDIS over there and procured the game and brought it back. And he's streamed the first level earlier today. So if you don't mind spoilers and you'd like to see more of the game than the demo lets you see, you can go check that out on our channel right now. But
it's about an hour and a quarter. It's not that long.
If you're still playing Smash Ultimate, and lots of people are, there will be an event that begins tomorrow the 22nd, to coincide with the release of Showtime. That will see Princess Peach Showtime and Super Mario Brothers Wonder Smash Ultimate Spirits in the Spirit board. And so they've been doing lots of these new things, adding new spirits, and I'm a little frustrated because I've got like less than 100 spirits left to get, and I can't ever get the spirit board to give me spirits that I actually need. And that, so
Frankly, I
we need to
forgot.
fix that.
You might need to summon. They're not all on the spirit board. There's some you have to summon, and some you have to
okay.
upgrade.
Okay.
I frankly forgot about the spirit board because this isn't the game I play. So
there you go. They're out there. That will begin in 5 days. Also, this would be a good point to mention too that there is a Splatfest this weekend too for Splatoon 3, and I believe is it guitar, drums, and
Keyboard.
guitar, drums, and keyboard.
Mm-hmm.
And they've released new music for this as well. It is a battle rap diss track between Off the Hook and whatever the new ones are.
Okay.
I tells you how much I love
Aren't
Splatoon.
Off the Hook the new ones? They're in Splatoon 3.
Off the Hook, and who were the ones from 2?
Pearl Marina.
Yeah, it's them.
I thought they were Off the Hook.
It's them versus.
Or maybe they are Off the Hook. Then
yeah, they're Off the Hook, and then Fire and Shiver are the new ones, and it's like a battle rap between the 4 of them.
Okay.
Nintendo featured it on their Twitter X whatever today. So yeah, there you go. Also today, there were a schwack load of games announced at the Future Game Show Spring Showcase. And we're just going to run through some names here and some dates, and we'll talk about some out nows too. Void Rot 2024, Sky of Tides 2024, Battle Juice Alchemist 2024, Holston to be announced, Simon the Sorcerer Origins 2024, Realm of Ink Spring 2024. So that one's probably a closer than we think it is. Go-Go Town 2024, Linkito to be announced, and Tales of Iron 2, Whiskers of Winter to be announced. And then from this showcase, kind of out now, New Star GP. We've got a first look out on this one right now on our channel. Tim, why don't you tell us about this? Because it's right up your alley.
The New Star GP game was the one I did a first look on, and New Star GP is essentially reminded me a little bit of Virtua Racing that Sega did. And I love racing games, and I loved their arcade version of Virtua Racing. I never had a Sega system, so I never got to play the at-home versions. But the arcade ones I absolutely loved. So this kind of reminded me of it, and when I dove into it, it actually was it was a lot easier to pick up and play than I thought it was going to be. Because if you play anything like Gran Turismo or even Forza, where if you're playing a little bit more of a sim racer, where you have to make sure you're braking at the right moments, taking the corners at the right moments, and all that kind of stuff, that can be hard to pick up and take on, especially if you're more of an arcade racer and you like drifting. You're not drifting in these GP games. Unless it's raining and you didn't switch your tires. But anyways, it's a great game that's based on, I think, the 80s and 90s heyday of that type of racing. They have tracks from that time. I was kind of disappointed because they didn't have a Detroit track, because we have indie racing that comes through our city every summer. But it may not be that type of race that they do. So that might be why Detroit's not in there. But anyways, again, it is a racing game. It uses the Indy style cars or the GP cars or kart cars type things. Not like go-karts, but I think there's like another type of racing F1 cars type things. And it was a lot of fun, and I highly recommend it. And it seems like it's getting a lot of hits on our channel for people checking it out and stuff. So if you're into that kind of thing, check out the video we have and look into it and see if it's up your alley.
Yeah, I mean, you calling back to Virtual Racing is very close. I mean, like the graphical style, like at
Yes.
least I went and looked it up while you were
Graphical
talking
style
about.
for sure is like that. And then, but it's really tight controls, and it helps you if you're not used to those type of games. It helps you learn very well from what I've played so far.
Very cool.
So I didn't feel like I had to, like I wasn't getting mad or angry or anything like that, because it was keeping me informed on how to take those corners and when to brake, and gives you the lines that you're supposed to follow to help train you. So it was nice. It was cool.
Very cool. Very cool. So that's out now. Also out now, The Veil, Shadow of the Crown. This was out March 14th. This is a 2021 action role-playing game developed by a developer called Falling Squirrel. You control a blind princess. So if you're looking for something in that vein, that's out now. Also, Kingdom Come Deliverance Royal Edition was out on the 15th. They highlighted that as well, which is a story-driven open world RPG across the Holy Roman Empire. So there you go. You can listen to Sabaton while you play that. And then MLB The Show 24. If you like the sports ball of the baseball variety, it's out now as well on Switch. You can play that. It's out everywhere. But those were all highlighted too. And then out soon, Haunty, which is coming out on May 23rd. And Farewell North out August 15th. Tachaya, which comes out summer 2024. The Heirloom, October 2024, and Shadows of the Damned, Hella Remastered later this year. This is co-developed by the people who did Fatal Frame, Mask of the Lunar Eclipse. So if you like spooky, scary games, then you may want to check that one out.
Well, actually, this game was developed by Grasshopper Manufacturer, the same group that did No More Heroes.
Yeah, they co-developed Fatal Frame.
Yeah, Grasshopper co-developed that Fatal Frame game. So.
Gotcha. Sorry, I read that wrong. But anyway, if you like spooky, it's there.
Yep.
And y'all, that is it's literally our news this week. It's a slow week. Everybody's on spring break. Even game developers are on spring break. I think they've all gone down to Florida.
No, what are you talking about? It's GDC right now and PAX East. It's crazy. There's two conventions back to back on top.
I was going to say that they tried to go down to Miami Beach and get on MTV Spring Break with Carson Daly.
Spring Break's now up at PAX East. They're going to do it there.
Yeah. They can head up there. GDC was also this week, so good catch there.
Our spring break was last week.
Yeah, ours is this week, and everybody left. I'm just here by myself.
Ours is next week.
I've just been eating saltine crackers and floor cheese for 5 days. With that, with all our news being done, it's now time for an ad break from our good friends over at Manscaped.
This episode is brought to you by the spring cleaning champions, Manscaped. This season, make sure to groom your carpets and the drapes with the leaders in below-the-waist grooming. Clear out the winter bush with Manscaped's Lawnmower 5.0 and watch your confidence bloom like the springtime flowers. Embrace the season and join the 10 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with our special offer. Go to manscaped.com and use NINDADS for 20% off and free shipping. NINDADS for 20% off and free shipping. So after using Manscaped, I can finally say I've caught the spring fever. Introducing the season's champ, the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra. The 5th generation trimmer features 2 interchangeable next-gen skin-safe blade heads, a standard one for taking a little off the top, and a new foil blade to go smooth wherever your heart desires. It also features dual LED spotlights to guide you through the darkest winter debris. Navigate with confidence in your delicate areas. Hate making a mess? Not to worry. This bad boy is waterproof. Shave in the shower, in the bath, or in the ocean. That ought to be interesting to shave in the ocean, So that means maybe not the salt water wouldn't affect it. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe they might want to check that line.
I wonder the way. I'd be worried about the waves.
Yeah.
You might get somewhere you don't want to.
Might be able to clear some of the extra, hairs that you're cleaning.
You might get somewhere you don't want got.
No, that's true. If you get hit while you're shaving.
Yeah, exactly.
I love this thing because it comes with a compact case. I take it with me everywhere I go. Spring cleaning doesn't just apply to nether regions. Get the full grooming experience with Manscaped Signature Beard Hedger Pro Kit plus Handyman Electric Face Shaver. That's the one I use the most to help keep this thing trimmed. Whether you're looking to craft your signature look or clean up that neckline, these are always the right tools for the job. Again, get 20% off and free shipping with NINDADS at manscaped.com. That's 20% off and free shipping with NINDADS at manscaped.com. Nothing like a little spring cleaning in your pants.
So we're going to turn on the spotlight a little bit early tonight because we do have a special guest with us, Mr. Barry Carenza of Premium Edition Games, as well as the Nintendo Fuse podcast and the Premium Playcast podcast as well. And we love having Barry on to talk about all that's been going on over at Premium Edition and all the other stuff, including congratulating him on becoming a father. We're excited for you. So Barry, just I guess the question is, what you been up to lately?
Well, I mean, being a dad, that is the number one thing. But no, since I've been on, trying to play games, of course, but been very busy over Premium. Things are very much heating up. There's a lot of good things coming. So I know the last time I was on, we were talking Series 6, which was Wife Quest and Super Dungeon Maker. And since then we did have Series 7, which is still on the website, but actually goes off Friday night into Saturday morning. Series 7 leaves. So that it contains 3 games, Anuchard, which is a Zelda-like action adventure from Stellar Null and Freedom Games. It's got the graphics of like Moon RPG. It's got the humor of Mother. It is a lot of fun. It includes Lonesome Village from Ogre Pixel. This is a game that's like Animal Crossing meets Legend of Zelda with cute animal characters, lots of side stuff to do, lots of more cozy stuff where you could farm and you can decorate your house, but you also have challenging puzzles as you go up a tower to discover what happened to the Lonesome Village. And then, of course, our Sunshine Anthology, which is both Camp Sunshine and Sunshine Manor, 2 16-bit horror action RPG style games from Fossil Games and Houndpicked. Both phenomenal, both on the cart. So those are going off of the website to pre-order in just a few days. So if you want to get your pre-order exclusive dog tag, you can. But they're going off because it makes way for Series 8, which is launching starting this upcoming Monday on the 25th. We have our direct that we always do. It's at 8 p.m. Eastern. So I hope everybody checks it out. It's a real labor of love. It's going to be long. I'm expecting maybe 40 something minutes. Like could be a hefty one. Haven't seen the final count yet because it's still finalizing editing, but we do have a lot to talk about. One of the things we will talk about is a Kickstarter that we're a part of that is going on right now for Godshard Chronicles. And if you haven't seen this game and you like RPGs, you're doing yourself a disservice. This is done in the style of Secret of Mana, Zelda, like action RPG, but it's co-op. It's 1 or 2 players. So local co-op, so it brings you back to childhood. The music is done by the composer from Lunar and Grandia. It's got a bunch of guest composers from like Wild Arms and Final Fantasy. It's got guest scenario writers. Like it is doing extremely well on Kickstarter right now. It's almost 300% funded. It goes until the 2nd of April. It's just a game that I truly fell in love with, and the developer is such an awesome person. JCat Games Limited is doing a phenomenal job with this, and I implore everybody to check it out. 200K stretch goal is you get to play as a dog. One part of the game is a playable character, so who doesn't want to play as a dog? So absolutely implore that. But yeah, there'll be a bunch more to talk about coming Monday, and there's a bunch more this whole year. We've been setting up. I've been meeting with developers every week and talking with a bunch of great people, and I can't wait to say more than I'm allowed to say right now. But that look forward to a great year of great games for the Switch and PlayStation, and it really this is just another stellar year. Every year there's just so many games.
Barry, we're gonna just have to have you on again after you guys are
Yes.
done doing that. So
Yeah, no, I hope you tune in. I absolutely want to come back, and there's so much that I can't talk about
right.
because it hasn't been announced yet, and I want to talk about. All I can hint is that there's going to be something hopefully for everybody. We try and diversify our games. We always try and have something for everybody. So you may not like every game in a series, but it's all games we picked and all games we love. And hopefully there's at least one that you say, oh, you know what, I want to play that and it's worth my time. And we truly feel it is. That's why we're backing it. That's why we're putting it out physically.
And I love the way you guys package stuff too, because I've purchased things from you guys. In fact, while you were explaining stuff, I was opening one I hadn't had a chance to open up yet, and that
Oh,
was the Raji one that you guys
oh,
did. I finally got
Raji.
my hands on it.
Oh, you got the collector's edition.
I
Oh,
got the
that's
collector's
so
edition.
beautiful.
So, like this packaging and everything, like the art book. This
Look
game
how
is,
thick that is, that
I
art book.
know, right? It's all kinds of stuff in there. And then the box, look, it's like an old N64 box, right? Do I have
And
it upside down?
SNES. Yeah, you have it upside down.
SNES, yeah, sorry. So yeah, look at that. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, that edition was one of the things we do is we always let our developers, like we give them the time, we don't give them crunch. Those are shadow puppets because the
Yeah, the
game,
shadow puppets is what I was the reason why I was looking forward to this one.
yeah,
You
because
can
the
put your own
game,
shadow puppets in together that you see in the game.
yeah, the retro box has two as well. Raji's like in the retro box. But the original idea for the retro box was supposed to be the soundtrack, and it was supposed to be the art book. And we told Nodding Heads do the art book, like put it together because they wanted to do it. And they
Yeah.
came back to us and said, "So we did the art book. It's 144 pages." And we're like, "We told you the size of a Super Nintendo manual. We didn't tell you 144. So what do we do with this?" So we said, "All right, you know what? You did the work. Let's make a collector's edition." So that's how the collector's edition was born, because we wanted to give them that opportunity to get that art book out there because they did such a good job. And
Yeah.
I love even the slip cover for it all, with the
Yeah, it fits
foil and
it's going to look great with all my other special editions I like getting. So, especially
appreciate it.
I like being able to that you guys do this like it's not like it comes out the same day the game came out. This came out after, and because I played it, I was like it's one of my favorite games of that year when it came out. So it was like when you guys brought it out, I was like, okay, I got to buy this so I have it physical. So, and it's great because I did that with Inscription as well, even though that you guys didn't do
We
that
did
one.
that one. Well,
Uh,
we try
I
and
picked that
do
one up.
content complete. Game
Right.
preservation is important to us. How many games out there have day one updates because they have to produce the physicals before it comes out, and there's always bugs they don't play test, or there's
Right.
little DLC
Yeah.
added, and so many. And at least like in the 360, PS3, Wii era, they would do Game of the Year re-releases, and they would have all the content on the disc. And now the Game of the Year is the same disc with a download code, so it doesn't do anything for preservation. So we will delay a release until the game is complete and done, and that way we get it. We've done it with many games already in the past, and it's one of those that we feel is important because eventually the servers are going to shut down. We're talking about the Wii U servers with Mario Maker. We want everyone that buys our games to be able to pop it into their Switch and enjoy the entire content, and we want the developers to have their entire content preserved. Because they put a lot of time and effort and hard work into it, and that way we get the best version of it possible.
What was the
Awesome.
date and time that Direct's going to launch?
Oh, so it's Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern, Monday the 25th, March 25th. So that's going to go live on YouTube. We do that premiere, and then after we go on to our Twitch, and we like the team gets together and we play the games and we talk about it and we answer questions. We make it an event, and of course, then after it's
Yeah.
on YouTube forever to watch.
And then what's the YouTube channel name in case people aren't
Premium
yet
Edition
subscribed?
Games.
Like, thank
Yes,
you.
Premium Edition Games on YouTube. We will have a link on our social medias. So if you follow any of our social medias at Premium Edition 1 on Twitter or X and Premium Edition Games everywhere else, we will absolutely be posting it. And, we implore everybody to share it with their friends. These things they take a long time to make. It's very easy to just post a tweet and say, Raji is coming physical, we're doing it. We didn't want to do that. That's not how we operate. We take the time to write the directs and record and edit and put little jokes and humor and this fun stuff when we get the developers to come on and talk about their game, and we really try and make it an event. So, if this sounds interesting to you, if you've never seen one before, or you've watched them and you really enjoy them, share them with your friends. We do greatly appreciate it. It's really a labor of love. That's why we do it.
Yeah, I think that it shows that how much you guys like respect it's not just like, hey, this is a good idea, let's make some money. Like, it shows that you guys respect the games, you respect the developers, you put a lot of effort and thought into it, and I appreciate that. That, like,
Yeah.
Like, the stuff you guys put out is top notch.
Well, thank you. We appreciate it. We're a small team. We're very passionate. We all wear many hats, and we all love what we do. And you just gave a list before of all these games, and if you watched all those trailers back to back to back, and I said, "Oh, what'd you think of the third game?" You'd probably be like, "The third? What was the third game again?" Or even if I just said the name of the third game, you would be like, "What was that one again?" Because there's not enough time to absorb, and there's so many games coming out anyways, and we don't want to just throw games out there. We want to give time to let it marinate, talk about each game individually, let the developers talk about their games. It's their baby after all, and really, hammer that home that these are games that we're really passionate about and that we really love, and that we think everybody will love them too, especially if it's a genre that you enjoy. I mean, if you don't like platformers and we put out a platformer, then I don't expect you to love it. But if you do love platformers, I do think you will enjoy it. Same with all these games, Raji included. They're all fantastic titles that have captivated us, and we're probably the only company out there that launches with a sports game. But we did it, and it's why, because it was an RPG. It captivated us. So we just want to give a voice to these small developers, because a lot of them are like Super Blood Hockey was one developer, one guy, like Loren. He's awesome, and he did that one game. Robot Named Fight was Matt Bittner, one developer. So these aren't big AAA. These are smaller teams as well, and they don't really have always the opportunity or an outlet to get their game seen. Some of these games have, I've talked with developers, and one of the questions that I get periodically is, do you care how the game sold? Like this, then they flat out sometimes will say, like, this game did terrible on the eShop. Like, it did not do well. It got buried, and very few people even bought it. And I tell them no. I said, we play the game and we love it. We'll give you a second life. And we actually have people who will watch the directs, even if they don't buy physical. That's okay. I'm not going to hate you. And they wind up buying the digital versions to enjoy these games because we suggest them. And I said, that's great. The developers get money. That's what we're there for. That's a publisher is there for the developers.
Yeah, especially if they were buried the first time and and it was just completely missed. That makes sense.
Oh, absolutely. It's more exposure for them, and we take care of our developers, and we this industry is, I've always studied this industry. I've been an analyst, but there's one thing I didn't know was how small it was until I got into this business, because people will talk and the industry is small, and if someone does someone wrong, everyone knows it. So you very much live or die in this industry by your reputation. And we, what I tell every developer we talk to, and this isn't like hidden knowledge, it's public, is I always tell them, think of the MCU, because everyone knows the MCU by now. When it started, Iron Man, came out, and Robert Downey Jr. had like a 5-movie contract, and Sam Jackson like a 7-movie contract. And now Marvel says they don't do that anymore. They want every movie to be an individual. They want people to sign on and have a good time and want to come back. And that's what we tell all our developers is we're signing a game. We're technically signing that one game, but in our mind, we're wanting you to have a good enough experience that you want to come back. And we're seeing more and more repeats, and it warms my heart, because that means we treated them well, or at least well enough that they want to work with us again. And yeah, it's something you learn just how small the industry is, and so many great people I've met in it that don't get enough credit, or most people don't even know about, and it's sad because there's a lot of talented developers and publishers in this industry, and it grows by the day as more kids get out of college. There's more and more, and I'm meeting like 21-year-olds that are like beyond talented and making stuff, and I'm like, I couldn't make that if I had another 15 years to practice, and here they are like wizards. Great people though.
Yeah. So we've got a few questions for you,
Okay.
and you can answer or nah.
No
Uh,
comment.
I get it. I mean, some of these. So here's the first one. What since you've started premium edition games and been a part of it, what's the most frustrating thing you've had to deal with?
Uh, that's a good question. Money. Like most things, money. Video games are expensive. Physical video games are expensive. Um, I guess that would let's see. I guess we've had some frustrating instances. Like we have now in our contracts, we ask our developers not to put games on discount when we have the pre-orders up, because our fourth game, Robot Named Fight, we put it up for pre-order, and Matt had it on sale for $1.99 digitally. And I was like, Matt, I love you, brother, but really? And it was a funny thing. Like we all laughed about it, and we did get comments like, why should you buy the physical when it's $1.99? And I get it. In that case, buy the physical and support them digitally. You get the best of both worlds. But it's like small little things that you learn, and like, all right. It's I guess probably the most frustrating thing is not being able to help everybody, truthfully, because every day, we're either talking to new developers or new developers are reaching out to us. And I wish I can say yes to every single game. I wish the whole team could say yes to putting out every single game. The truth of the matter is we can't. We're a small team. We release only a few games at a time. And some games we have signed that are still in development, and whenever they're done, they're done. And some games were signed, and we tell them flat out, like, look, this is booked. Maybe we can get you in the fall, or next spring. And if you're okay with waiting, then sure, like we'll work with you. But it's frustrating not being able to say yes to everybody, because everybody deserves a chance. And there's a lot of games out there, and there's a lot of publishers out there, but we can only do so much on our end.
Yeah, I understand that. What's one thing that you wish customers knew about premium edition games?
About us, like that's one of the frustrating things just in general is, we do conventions all the time. Almost every weekend we're at conventions. Even this past weekend we had a team. I forget where one of our teams was, but we had our main team over at Game On Expo in Phoenix, Arizona. And we always ask people when we're at a show, like, hey, have you heard of us? And it's still about 90 to 95% of people go, no, haven't heard of you. And it's, even after 4+ years in the industry now, or 4 years. And it is frustrating because it's like, we're doing all this great stuff and you still have no idea who we are. So definitely, that we exist is the number one thing. And just when you find out about us, what makes us different, because there's 100 different publishers, 1,000 different publishers, whatever out there, and there's so many different physical releases. And what we try and do to stand out, the fact that we don't, repeat art unless we absolutely have to, that we, have like art on the inlay, that we have full color 20 to 40 page manuals, that we do the challenge cards. We're the only company that does the challenge cards where you can earn a physical achievement for completing a developer challenge. Just the level of the quality of the product, the retro box. It's, the slipcover. We upgraded the slipcover for Series 3 onwards, where it's significantly thicker and, higher quality. And, we do all these things because we are premium. We have to go by our name. So, someone could look on the webpage and the picture doesn't do it justice. Even Tim holding up a game doesn't do it the same justice as actually holding it in your hand and actually feeling the quality. So that's one great thing about the show, is people get to grab the boxes and feel them, but that's it. Like that we exist, and what makes us different from everybody else, and why you should play the games.
Yeah. Who do you look up to the most personally, and what company does premium edition games look up to?
I mean, personally, Nintendo. They were my childhood. I still think they march to their beat their own drum, and they do some amazing stuff. And at the same time, it frustrates me to see their physical releases be so bare bones. Most of them lately, they've actually had inlay art, but a lot of them are just white on the inside, no manuals, not even complete on cart. And it's just so, you have the money. And the fact that they still have some releases that they don't even give physicals to. And I'm like, come on. So
Yeah, and I get frustrated that like people who are in like the Nintendo of Europe region, they get all these great pre-order bonuses and my Nintendo rewards. Like
yeah,
there's a papercraft stage for Paper Mario.
yep,
They're re-releasing the Luigi's Mansion statue, that was a former Club Nintendo exclusive.
yeah.
Uh, and we see none of that. They get these special editions, like the Samus Returns special edition and things. And over here, zilch.
We get little things, but when we get them, they botch it. Like Xenoblade Chronicles 3, we got the collector's edition, which was great. And then they had the botch with the internet where their site wasn't working, and then it's like, we'll try again tomorrow. Sorry you took off work today to try to get our product. It's like it's amazing how they could botch something like that. Just making an open pre-order. You're selling something for a profit. Print as many as you need to. You control the printing. It's you. And I guarantee if they sell, let's just say they sell 15, or let's say 15,500, and you have to order in increments of 1,000, so you have to order an extra 500. One, you keep some behind for damages, and afterwards you say we have 400 left, and you throw them on the website. I guarantee you they will be sold out. So you're not going to be at a loss. You're going to sell those. You're Nintendo. So I 100% agree with that frustration. NOA, I think, hates our guts. And that's really one big thing. And then the other, I guess, would be every big company that doesn't acknowledge, like we look up to all the big companies, of course, because they're the big dogs, but there's so many that don't acknowledge all the smaller developers and the smaller publishers, and they don't even treat their own games with respect. Like so many games are digital only, or they're released in the weirdest way, like as I call them, Crapcom now. Like Monster Hunter Stories 1 in America, you have to buy Monster Hunter Stories 2 as well, and that's a digital download. And that's only on the Switch. It's digital everywhere else in America. But in Europe, Switch is digital, but PlayStation 4 has a physical for some reason over there. And then Japan gets Monster Hunter Stories 1 on its own on the Switch. Like what is going on? Like consistency. So we
Right.
want to treat those games with respect. Let us release Monster Hunter Stories. We do it right. But and I know all those games, there's so many from all the big companies that the whole market is shifting away from physical. So they're looking at digital more, and let the small guys do the physical. Let us take over that reign. We'll give you a bigger cut, sure, you're a bigger game, but it's one of those things where let us at least do it,
I
Yeah.
wish they would let you release some Mega Man games. I know we've had the Legacy Collection, but to do it all in, like all physical,
Well, they are all physical outside of like Legends, which doesn't have it one, and Star Force. But the weird way on the Switch, which is Mega Man Legacy Collection 2 and X Legacy Collection 2, do exist physically, but only in a special pack, the 5-in-1 in Japan.
yeah, and that's not good, right?
No,
That's not good.
but at least they exist.
That's true. They do exist. One last question here I want to ask you
Actually,
is
well, before the last question, I want to read something from chat. Thunderdome Gaming Society says he doubled down on Robot Named Fight, bought it physically and digitally, and yet he loves the challenge patches. They're on his battle vest. He wore it recently to a Metallica concert and was consistently asked about the patches. Good times.
That's fantastic. Thunderdome is an awesome person. He's a big supporter. And yes, absolutely. We when we do shows like conventions and people come up to us wearing the patches, like we love it. Like absolutely. And the best part is developers see that. Just it was today, I think, or yesterday, I saw They Bleed Pixels someone did the challenge, and Miguel, the developer, commented and said, congratulations. So these developers are seeing their games being opened, played, and enjoyed as well. And we do the challenge patches. Developers don't have to worry about that. It's like a gift to them, though, that they get to see people enjoy their game.
That's
That's
awesome.
really cool. So here's the last question. Where can people find you and or the things you do? All right. So we want to send as much traffic as possible toward you and what you're doing. So where do people find you, your games, your podcasts, all of that?
Sure. So you can find me personally on Twitter, or X, if you will, as well as Blue Sky and Fuse. You can find me at Hawk Hellfire. It's consistent. Same with Discord, same name straight across the board. You could find premium edition games, as I mentioned before, at premiumeditiongames.com, of course. Get the Series 7 pre-orders in before they close in just a few days. And we have a bunch of in-stock games, a ton of in-stock games still, including Raji, that you can play and buy right now. You can find us on Twitter there. It's at Premium Edition 1, the numerical 1. Everywhere else it's Premium Edition Games. And for Nintendo Fuse, we're Nintendo Fuse everywhere: Facebook, Twitter, social media, YouTube. And you can find the Nintendo Fuse podcast on YouTube, as well as all the podcast streaming services. We do it every other Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. We do it live just like this. And then Premium Playcast, you can find us at premiumeditiongames.com. There's links to everything there, as well as every podcast app.
And for those of you who are watching along with us right now and are in the chat, at least on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube, Jesse has just dropped those links into the chat. And Jesse, do you mind maybe just heading over to X and doing a tweet there or post there?
I don't have easy access to X anymore.
Then we'll
I do. I can do that.
Tim will do that. Just say, hey, we've got Barry on the show tonight. Here's how you can find him. Be sure to listen, all that good stuff. We want to promote you as we believe in what you're doing.
Justin actually beat me to it. He's already retweeted what Barry had.
I was going to say, I tweeted out that I was on the show and to come join.
Awesome. So there we go. Shows you that I haven't looked at X tonight.
You know what? I tried to return the favor.
Awesome. Well, hey, thanks for hanging out with us. We're going to get to what we've been playing later. You'll be first, so be thinking about that.
Okay.
We've been doing this new thing for the last few weeks called Question of the Week. And so with so many people thinking about and being on spring break this week, my question was this week. It's spring break. If you've gone on spring break vacation before, which one was your favorite and why? So, Barry, I'm just going to ask, have you ever been on spring break vacation?
I have as a kid.
What was it memorable? What did you do?
Yeah, we went to Florida. Usually because I have a lot of family down there. I have a brother down there, and we went to Florida, visited family, went to Disney, Universal, the whole 9 yards. We used to have a timeshare because, of course, what do you do to people in the north that go down south? You sucker them into a timeshare. So
that's everywhere because they sucker people from Tennessee into buying timeshares in Tennessee, just in another part of the state. It happens. So yeah. All right. So Jesse, Tim, what about you? Any spring break vacations? Any shenanigans?
I don't think I've ever been on one.
For me, it was Cedar Point. Getting to go to Cedar Point a couple times when I got older, in my younger 20s. That's an amusement park, in case nobody knows what that is. An amusement park in Sandusky, Ohio. They call it the roller coaster capital of the world. So because they have 16 coasters, I think, or something like that.
Are you a coaster guy?
I love roller coasters. Ride? I love roller coasters. Yeah, I can't get my kids to ride on it with me, but I love roller coasters.
Yeah, I'm not riding a roller coaster. I can't do it. Now, I guess if you count Slinky Dog at Disney World as a roller coaster, which I do, but I don't like the idea of being turned upside down. I just don't. I don't like that. So
my favorite one is when you don't have a floor. You're just dangling.
Like
Those
that.
are
Is
my-
it does the Batman ride at Universal
Yeah.
do that or
Yeah,
Six
I think so.
Flags?
Six Flags. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
This one's called the
Batman.
Raptor at Cedar Point.
Okay, cool. So my wife and my daughter are going to Universal later on this year to celebrate my wife and her two sisters all reaching their 40s. It's like we survived, and somehow my daughter has conned herself into getting on this trip because she's a huge, massive Harry Potter fan, and of course she wants to go to Harry Potter World while they're down there. And I like it's good for them because I'm not a huge rides guy. Now, when I go to Disney, I love rides there because I feel like surely at Disney World the rides are maintained a little bit more than everywhere else. But I don't know. Like I'm not a huge like Tower of Terror is about as thrilling as I get.
Did you do Rock and Roller Coaster?
No.
Oh,
No.
that's such a
My
good
wife
trip, Holly.
did though.
I got to
when we
do
went
that
back-
one. That was fun.
When we went back in 21, she did it and she said she will never do it again because
Oh,
the like her head just she said it was too much. Like her head kept bouncing around and
It was
my
showing
daughter
its
loved it.
age. The
Daughter
ride was
loved
showing
it,
its
though.
age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think she was showing her age, but I say that 'cause she's not in the room and
You're able to get away with that right
like
now.
I can say that. So
he's listening
Well-
live right now. Plot twist.
We're gonna
I
see
hope-
something thrown at his head.
It comes out of the background.
We
No,
just see this
please,
hand come out.
please, I hope she's- yeah. It's funny because we were talking on the way home tonight from taking my daughter to dance about. She's like, at least I subscribe to your podcast. I was like, what's that mean? She's like, well, I don't listen to it. I subscribe to it though. Great.
Don't feel bad. My wife doesn't listen to any of my
I
podcasts.
told her. I said, listen. I'm not everyone's cup of tea. It's fine. We're just married. It's totally some of you answered this question. But before we get to that, I'll say mine was we have when I was younger, we would go to Gatlinburg, which is otherwise known as Redneck Disney World, or the Redneck Las Vegas.
I remember being there last year.
Yeah, and so Gatlinburg has changed a whole lot since I went as a kid. It used to be, Pigeon Forge area, especially, which is before you get into Gatlinburg, used to be just like fields, and now it's just slammed. And
Oh yeah.
but I love that area. I love the mountains. I love like one of my favorite things to do is to rent a cabin and to go up there and just stay a few days and go buy overpriced fudge and go to the go walk the streets of Gatlinburg and I mean where else can you get
And your inch thick pancake.
Yes, inch thick pancakes. But I mean, in Gatlinburg, where else can you get, like quality timepieces and a ninja sword right next to each other?
Oh yeah.
So I mean, it's
Well, now
good.
there's the island. You can go to the island that's over there, which is
You
really nice.
can,
You can go to
and-
the what was it? The Paul Dean restaurant is there.
Paula Dean, Jimmy Buffett's there. Last
Yeah.
time we were there, we went to the Pirate Show, which was like a dinner and a show, and it was really cool. So yeah. Gatlinburg, if you're listening and you would like to sponsor me to come and talk about you on another show, I would do that.
Or if they like to sponsor the Nintendo Dad's 10th anniversary.
Ooh, you know what? We should go to Gatlinburg.
There you go.
Yeah, we should go to Gatlinburg and we'll go to well, I don't know. We'll go to the Dixie Stampede, and it's not called Dixie Stampede anymore.
Oh, it's not?
No, they took Dixie out because Dixie's bad now.
Oh.
Anyway, I
Go to Dolly World and
Dolly
get
World.
that
Yeah.
cinnamon bread. That's by the water flume.
Yeah, we'll go to
Oh,
Crockett's Breakfast Camp where Jesse's talking about the inch thick pancake and the giant fried cinnamon roll, and we'll all go have a diabetic coma after that,
yeah.
and it'll be great.
that is something when you eat the food down there. If you're not used to it, like one meal will fill you up the whole day because there's so much butter.
Yep. It just flows in our veins. Anyway, some of you answered this question too. I want to read your answers. Victoris GX says, my dad took my bro and me down to Daytona Beach one time. He told me he hadn't been there in a while and thought he'd bring us along to scope things out, seemed to know his way around after a few minutes. Looking back, it was, well, it was honestly kind of weird, to be honest. Darth Platypus says, 1 year in college, I went down to Florida to camp and canoe. I got to make it down to the Keys for some snorkeling, and I had a grand time. And then Zablanc, listen to this. This is good stuff. He says, about 20 years ago, I spent my spring break taking a private jet to a quaint island town, though the name escapes me at the moment. There was some local drama happening while we were there, which scuttled our trip. Apparently, I looked like a graffiti vandal who'd recently been plaguing the area. It wasn't a lost cause, though. I took some initiative and helped catch the real culprit. I not only cleaned up the island with some mouthy fire equipment, but turned out the villain did look just like me. We all had a good laugh about it, and then my princess and I finally got to hit the beach like we'd planned.
Wow.
It's pretty epic, but I gotta say it sounds a little familiar. I just can't place it though.
I don't know. Maybe a little sunshine would help.
Well, probably.
Just stay away from the pachinko machines.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, guys, that's our let's discuss.
Wait, did you read Darth Platypus's?
I did.
Okay. All right. Oh, you saved.
You just blacked out during that time.
Sorry. Yeah.
He had to save the sunshine for last.
Yeah.
Let's take a timeout, shall we? Now, Barry, it may have been a while since you were on the show, so you may not know what our timeout moment is. And it is not that someone has been bad and they have to go to the corner. All right. Although that's usually that's just where Justin has to go. All right. Yeah. But what it is it's a time for non-Tendo talk or dad talk, or basically it's anything that you are really like kind of jamming on right now that is not Nintendo related. So since that is your first introduction to it, we'll let you think on that. We'll come back to you here in just a minute. And if you don't have one, that's okay.
Yeah, if you don't have one, that's fine too. We don't always have one every week.
Yeah. So Tim, tell us about Ninja Sloths.
Yes. So last week, if you were paying attention, I think at some point during our podcast, I was showing off a card, and I'll get to that in a minute. But actually, I backed kickstarted this game called Ninja Sloths, the card game. And basically, it's you get a deck of cards that each player, up to 1 to 4 players, and it's or is it 2 to 4? 2 to 4 players, and it runs about 5 minutes to learn, 40 minutes to play. But basically, you're trying to collect, I think, gems. I think there's 7 or 8 gems that you got to try to collect, and you're trying to cooperatively beat an enemy on your board. But at the same time, you also don't want the other person that you're cooperatively fighting with to get the gems, because if you beat the monster in the center of the board on the card, if you beat their points, you get the gem. You get to collect the gem. Anyone who beats that gets the gem. But you want the most gems by the end of the game, essentially. Simply put. So, but yeah, again, it's Ninja Sloths. It came in a nice box. I have it here. Haven't had a chance to play it yet, but I'm looking forward to it. But one of the things I got to do when I kickstarted it was create a Nintendo Dads card for Ninja Sloths. So I got a Nintendo Dads card to be able to play in the game with that picture that we had taken when we were in Nintendo.
That's awesome.
I use that as the card, and we're in the game essentially.
I'm in
a
board game.
Yes.
Well, it might as well just be in everyone because I don't care. That's amazing. That is so cool. I was laughing to myself as you're describing this game, because I was thinking, like, is the object to you play cards, but whoever plays the slowest,
right,
gets initiative.
Oh, it came with a Ninja Sloth too. So here I got the little Ninja Sloth.
That is incredible.
And it's it's funny because it's a ninja sloth. So that's what I thought was cool.
Very cool. Jesse, Tell us about midterm exams and future electronics labs.
Yeah, so yesterday we had the midterm for my electronics class, and we had an hour and a half to do the written part, and I had it done in like half an hour. I was like the first one done, and then there was a lab part of the midterm where they give us a spec sheet. We had to build the circuit and then wire it to measure the voltage at a certain point and the amperage at a certain point, and then we got points for doing that. Then he'd turn on the circuit and look at the numbers, make sure the numbers made sense. So we had an hour to do that. I think I was done in like 10 or 15 minutes. So I had a lot of extra time. Well, I had everything done before people even entered the lab. So I think I did well with that. But one thing I looked into is if I wanted to buy the meter, like the components we use at school to build a lab here at the house, how much would that cost? So I priced out, and it's either the same model or like a version or so down or something equivalent, because I'm not going to spend $2,000 on a single butt device, to make an AC generator, a DC generator, an oscilloscope, and a multimeter, basically. But if I bought similar to what we have in the school lab, it'd be about $2,000 total. They're about $500 each. So I'm still on the fence about whether I want to do that. But if I do that, what I want to, I need room in my basement to set this up. So I have a couch here that you can't see. It's just piled on with a crap that I'm going to have. I want to organize the crap, get rid of the couch, set up the table there. Oh, and then I can build my lab on the table. But it'll be a while before I'm able to do that. But if I choose to do it, so if I do continue with the electronics classes at the, it would be definitely beneficial to be able to work from home as well instead of requiring being in the school lab to do it.
That's very cool.
But I'm having fun with the
Yeah,
class,
I like
and likely will take the next class in the series.
At one time, you weren't very sure, but I'm glad that you're continuing on.
Yeah, I'm still not 100% sure, but I'm very highly likely going to take the second class, and then depending on how that goes, if the third class makes sense or not, then I'll take it.
Cool.
Doesn't sound like the fourth class in the series would be. That's more like getting into semiconductors, and yeah, that's not something that I can make at home.
Very cool. Very cool. My timeout this week is board games, and not just in general. Actually, there is a little bit of part about that. I'll get to that, but actually, a game that is on Kickstarter right now that I would love for you to check out. There's 15 days left. Now, they're not in danger of not being kickstarted because the game is called River Valley Glassworks, and with 14 days to go, they have gone 100% above their intended goal. So their intended goal to kickstart it was $20,000, and they're sitting at $234,000 right now. But this game is it says a cozy game about cute critters collecting river glass. And so you play as one of 5 kind of very cute. The art style, I love the art for this game. Critters who are trying to build a business out of collecting river glass. But the really cool thing about this game is that the deluxe edition of it includes I guess they're plexiglass pieces that you form a river with on the table, and each turn it flows like by moving the pieces and pushing things down or off the board that you won't be able to get again. And there's tons of cool little things that you can get with it. Of course, there's also a retail edition that's like $30 or $40. So if you want to be a little cheaper, But the deluxe edition to me is the really cool one. It's where it's at. Acrylic river tiles come with it. The neoprene river valley playmat, the deluxe glass bag, and other things. And you get dual layer boards so you can set your little glass tokens down in there. But here's something that I'm really excited about this is that River Valley Glassworks is playable right now on a new website that I have discovered. It's new to me. All right. It's not new to called boardgamearena.com, where you can register for a free account and play online digital board games against people on the internet all across the world.
Wow, that's cool.
And it's got games like King of Tokyo, Azul, Takanoko, Hanabi, Wingspan, Catan, Ticket to Ride, Carcassonne, just like a lot of like what you might call gateway games into the larger, less mainstream board gaming stuff, Splendor. But it also has like Yahtzee, if you want to play that.
Oh, nice.
And if you want to pay for an account, you can actually start games and invite people to them, and not have to like wait on like finding a game to fill.
That is cool.
But if you want to just have the regular, account, then you can do this.
What's that website again?
Free boardgamearena.com.
Yeah, that sounds
And
cool.
you can like create an account and you can friend people on there and you can set up games. I would love to play some games with some people on here. I could see us like, doing this via the Discord, having a voice channel open and play, because it sets it all up for you. Like, it has all the pieces and you could set up different rules and use different expansions and all kinds of stuff. So
nice.
It's really cool. You can even go in and like look up games for family, for 2 players, for solo.
Yeah, we just
games,
reopened our tabletop game channel too. So
yeah. So I would highly encourage you to check this out. I mean, there's literally like 100 or more board games on here. And the great thing about it is this lets you try them before you buy. So you can decide, hey, I would like to actually have the tactile version of this to play on the table. If you're not into board gaming a lot more than like Monopoly or whatever, let me give you some that I would highly recommend from this website. Takanoko is a beautiful game about the gardener in a Japanese garden building the garden for the emperor and the panda that he tries to keep from eating the bamboo. And you play as the role of the gardener and the panda at the same time to like score points because you have different tasks. So it's really cool. King of Tokyo is like basically Godzilla in board game form. It's a really cool dice rolling game where you try to roll dice to damage other monsters to knock them out of the game to control Tokyo so that you can have get more points, victory points. But it's kind of like King of the Hill. So if you're in Tokyo, your attacks hit everybody else. But you can't heal. But if you're outside Tokyo, your attacks only work against the person who's in Tokyo, and you can heal and you can buy powers and do all that. Azul is a beautiful game about laying glass tiles for an emperor in one of his rooms, and does stacking, scoring, and all kinds of stuff. Ticket to Ride is wonderful. Just a great competitive game about building train routes across America. Super fun. Carcassonne is about building cities in the French countryside. It reminds me a lot of that old computer game, and I played it on the SNES, Rampart, except there's no combat. And then Wingspan is a wonderful game about watching birds. And it's a lot more fun than it sounds. Like
I just learned about Wormspan, where it's the same thing but about dragons.
That. Yes, and it actually adds some different mechanics to the game as well. So but Wingspan also has a Switch version that is so wonderfully done. It's just really, really good. So I would encourage you to check out boardgamearena.com. And yeah, that's timeout. Barry, do you have a timeout this week? If you don't, it's okay.
So I obviously didn't have anything prepared. But what Jesse said kind of reminded me a little bit of something that I heard from somebody actually in the Nintendo Fuse Discord, talking parenting and something that I never thought about before, and that's chiropractic, which yeah, and physical therapy and stuff like that, because I've always heard those like a negative connotation, like, and when I had my son, he was spitting up a lot, like excessive spit ups. It was just like almost like like a reflux, but he wasn't upset. And I was like, oh my God, we're going through so much laundry. What do we do? And he recommended chiropractic, get an adjustment. I was like, for an infant, he's like 4 months old and 5 months old, and I said, trust me, and went ahead and did it, and it's like freaking magic. So it's more like a PSA kind of to parents out there. Chiropractic is amazing for infants. It is unbelievable what it can do for colic and for reflux and spit up and stuff like that.
Oh.
It is unbelievable the difference it makes.
Will it help me stop spitting up?
Yes, actually will. You got adjusted. And it's funny, you laugh about things like that. When we did it, went there, and they ran our insurance, of course.
Mhm.
And like, your insurance, covers you if you wanted to do like physical therapy. And I was like, oh, you know what? I've always heard these negative things, and I've started going, and it's like great for because I do neck and shoulder. It's great for like stress because I have tightness there. I go there, they give me a freaking massage. I do a little exercise. I'm like, you know what? I feel so much better afterwards.
Right.
Like, you always hear physical therapy, like, I gotta go. They're gonna beat the crap out of me because it's usually after like a procedure. There's a lot of self-care. Like my wife went after, birth, and they're like, it's very healthy for you because your whole body got moved around, and it's this will prevent things from later on, like damages later on. That I was like, I never thought about it, and it started to make me think, like, how many things have we heard about in a negative connotation, and we instantly write off, like we don't try it ourselves, we don't think about it ourselves, we're just like, oh, I've heard it's bad, therefore it's bad. And it's sad. So I was like, that's something where I don't know, any of the new parents might be listening to this, or for future new parents, it's just something to keep in the back of your head. Like if your baby's spitting up or colic and just crying, look into it, because it really works. Wonders.
Right.
Absolutely. So that is our timeout. Let's talk about what we've been playing. All right, Barry, we're going to you first. You are up. What have you been playing?
So many games. For personal enjoyment, like I just finished Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I finished Persona 3, the remake of that, and I never did the Golden Sun 2, and I only like did the half of Golden Sun 1, so I went back and did those on NSO. And lately, the game I'm playing, which kind of reminds me of talking all these board games, is a game called Gordian Quest.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's like Dungeons and Dragons with cards for the
Yes.
Switch. It's fantastic. Such a good RPG. And it's one of those that I played on Steam, and then it came out on Switch, and I started playing on Switch, and I was like, oh my, like I wasn't sure how I was going to translate, and it hooked me in. Like, oh my God, I've just been playing it like crazy. And I've been playing some games for review for Nintendo Fuse that have been interesting, of different quality. I did CarX Highway Racing, Berserk Boy, which is fantastic, and then videos probably going up this week for the Lawnmower Simulator, which, honest to God, is the one review I actually did that I broke down. I literally laughed so hard I can't speak, and I blame that all on my editor Steve, who's actually in the chat right now.
Hey, can I just real quick? Can
Yeah.
you describe for me Lawnmower Simulator, because I like a Power Wash Simulator, man.
Yeah.
I'm stuck on it.
Okay.
Is it? Am I going to enjoy it as much?
So Lawnmower Simulator is pretty much like you running your own lawn mowing company. So you have to it's like simulation role playing. It's like you you start with so much money, you buy your first mower, you have a contract, you go to there, you mow the lawn, you leave, you get paid, and you can start hiring people eventually, and you get bigger and bigger. It's really ambitious, and if that's something like if you find mowing the lawn therapeutic, kind of going and doing your thing. I think the game is 100% serviceable. There's a lot to it, and they got kind of crazy with some of the DLC. There's like Jurassic, you could mow around dinosaurs and stuff. But the reason I was cracking up so much is because I was mad at this is a game that's supposed to be really realistic, right? Like you have to like lower and raise the blades to cut it the right length and all that stuff.
Yeah, I downloaded the game. I couldn't figure out how to get the thing in gear.
Oh, really? So I did on Switch. I got that. You can get the weed whacker and go through.
I was doing it on PC.
Oh, so I didn't do PC, but yeah, there's gears. But what got me so funny, and the main reason is because Steve was laughing hysterically. So I was laughing because I'm one of those people where if someone's laughing, I laugh harder because I'm watching them laugh. I was mad at the realism because this is supposed to be a realistic game, and I said, I was playtesting it, and I was mad because I got my first, contract, and I lowered my blades all the way to the ground, and I started destroying their lawn. I started running over the flowers and finds here, destroying their pottery. I'm just going to town, doing donuts in their lawn, like the worst possible job. And I'm waiting for someone to come out of the house with a baseball bat and just club me, just like knock me off the lawnmower because I'm destroying their lawn. And of course that doesn't happen. And then after I finish destroying the lawn, the game forces you to do 99% of the lawn to move on. So now I had to painstakingly, boring for the next 15 minutes, mow the rest of their lawn, destroying it though, because I was literally down to the dirt, 99% of their lawn. And then when I finished, I finally got to load my lawn on the lawnmower on the truck, and I got to leave. And I was like, oh, I better get out of here before I get shot, And I started horse laughing even more because then it gives you your total, and it's like, here's how you did and all that stuff. And I noticed I did like $400 and something worth of fines and damages, but I only had to pay $200 something. And I realized these people paid my bill. And I'm like, that is so unrealistic, because if someone mowed my lawn and destroyed my lawn, there's no way I'm paying that bill. Like, I'm going to find them and, probably take them to court, but I'm not going to pay their bill. But these suckers actually paid my bill. And I'm like, all right, this is very unrealistic. So if, it was like the kind of the Grand Theft Auto thing. Like, I'm going to get in the car and just destroy things because I can. I wanted to see how much they would let me get away with, and they let you do a lot, but then they torture you by having to make you mow 99% of the lawn. It is definitely an interesting game.
I'm excited because I just found out that this is included with my PlayStation Plus subscription. It's downloading to my PS5 right now.
Oh,
I'm gonna go drive through somebody's house with a lawnmower later on tonight.
See, I want to hear what how you like it. I really want to know how you like it, because
it sounds a lot more technical than I'm going to like, but I'm gonna give it a good old college try.
See, I really wanted, I want it to be realistic. Like, make it so someone comes out and confronts you. Like, don't keep like I'm destroying their flower beds. Like everything is.
Some little old lady comes out in her walker.
Yeah.
What are you doing to my flowers?
And then you could chase her down on the mower. She's like hobbling away.
Yes.
Let's do that.
That's another DLC. That's the Mortal Kombat DLC.
They went ahead and they put dinosaurs and stuff in the DLC.
Grand Theft Lawnmower.
Exactly. Let's have some fun with it. So
I want to know: do they have a Lawnmower Man DLC?
No, they don't.
Oh.
But you know what the funny thing about it is, we did the review, and Steve says it should be up this week. But as a physical collector, this game also did get a physical. So not only, I got the digital for review and I played it, but now after all this, I had to buy it again, buy the physical to have in my collection of this game that I probably will never touch again.
Nice.
So yeah, I do recommend when that comes out. If you like, I recommend you watch it. I break down. I can't talk. Like, I'm trying to talk and just
I'm gonna have
squeaks
to
are coming
go.
out.
Yeah,
it is hilarious.
Check this out.
I watched the CarX one you guys did, and I think Steve was the one that liked it, but the other two of you didn't, right? So
yeah.
I'm with Steve on the game.
You like
Uh,
it?
I actually liked it. For $10, I thought it was it. Yes, I noticed the errors as well as you guys did too. But for $10, I thought it was actually a pretty good game for $10.
Yeah, I mean it's not bad for $10, but again, I think there are better racing games for 10. But what did you think of the whole motion control? Because that made me sick right from the start.
I
That
turned
is
it
the
off, so I didn't even try it there because of the way I was testing it. I didn't
but
even try
it
it.
was turned on.
Oh, immediately, yeah. But
Yeah.
you got to pick between, like it says,
No,
do
no,
you
no, no,
want
no, no.
this or the other
Not
one?
that, the camera motion control. So there's motion control and there's camera motion control. And it's I only noticed it because I was when we booted it up, I was in conversation with my wife and we were talking and I had the pro controller in my one hand and I was just talking like this. And I
Yeah.
look at the screen and the whole camera's going like this,
Oh,
like the actual camera. So it's like, I'm like, what the
yeah.
hell? Like I'm getting nauseous.
Yeah,
Like,
the motion control. You could turn
oh,
it off right at the beginning because it asks you, do you want controls or motion controls?
yeah,
And I turned those off.
but it's something different in addition to like it doesn't it controlled the camera, not the actual car. It was the
Yeah.
actual camera perspective was
Oh,
moving,
okay.
and
So
that was just
there's a view button. Is that what you hit? Like to change it from behind the car to in the
no,
car or
it's
anything like that?
actually
It
the
was
camera
something
itself.
else.
It's a
Really?
separate option, and Steve didn't experience it because he plays a little like very very still. So after the we recorded, he booted up for footage, and he was like, "Oh my God! Like I didn't realize this is really that
Okay,
bad."
I'm gonna have to check that out. No, I didn't even notice that either.
Yeah, if you play very still, you'll never notice. But if you move at all when you play, the whole camera moves with the Pro controller. It's horizontal shift, he says, a separate horizontal shift. And I do
Okay.
not know why this is turned on. It's like the worst thing you could do. Imagine playing like a Mario game and like you can move the camera with
Yeah.
while tilting instead of the analog stick, the whole controller, and you're not paying attention. Something like
That
you
kind
go
of
like this.
sounds like the original Astrobot on PSVR.
Well, the difference is VR is different than, but yeah, I agree. It's like that. The
Ugh.
thing that got me was the speed. Like when I used the nitro in that game and everybody just sped up, it was like, this feels very
See,
unrealistic.
I didn't even notice that. It's
Oh
like
yeah. It's like fast forward. It's like someone hit fast forward and then hit play again.
because I when I felt like I was using it strategically and I was able to get ahead and not and everybody else couldn't.
Just like get behind people, like where there's like two or people in front of you, and then hit nitro and watch you and everybody else just like speeds up. It's like the developers just hit fast forward on the world and then play again. It it feels so weird. If you're by yourself, it probably feels better, but I was always, using it to try and get ahead. And I'm like, wait, they're nitro ahead of me.
Yeah, horizontal tilt is on.
Yeah.
I never
See,
noticed that.
now
Okay.
now try moving, and you'll see like you just play like it's unbelievable. Like you'll be like you'll probably get sick if you get motion sick.
I'll go
It's
to free ride and try
Yeah,
that
just
one.
go to free ride and try it. That's what he did, and he was shocked that this was even a thing. Like I don't know why they did this. It is bizarre. Like I don't mind that it's a feature in the game. Make it turned off by default. Don't have it turned on.
I was cracking up though at your guys' video or the part in the video where you guys are like when it loads up and you just sitting there and you
Yeah.
don't no car around you.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I know that one.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, it's not doing anything.
Really? Are
Hmm.
you handheld? Maybe
Yeah, I'm
it's
in
something.
handheld right now.
Maybe
Maybe,
why? Maybe why?
Oh, okay.
All right.
maybe with
Well,
Pro Control.
let's move on to Jesse. Jesse, what you been playing this
I'll
week?
try that out.
Right, so continuing the playthrough of Picross S Plus. Last week I finished the bonus puzzles, which was like 5 or 6 hours of content, and this week I finished the E1 puzzles, which was just under 15 hours. So I now have the E2 through E9 content left to go. So what I found out last week is Jupiter has a Picross game that was released on Steam recently, though it's not called Picross because I think Nintendo has that copyright. But this is called Logiart Grimoire. What makes this one a little bit different is, it starts you with like just two puzzles in a category called primordial, and then so you solve those two puzzles, and then in order that unlocks a few more, but as you solve them, these are like your basic elements. So you have like sun, fire, dirt, water, things like that. But then to unlock additional puzzles, you have to it's like an alchemy component. Like you take dirt and water, and then you get a new puzzle, and it's soil. So it kind of logically makes sense. This is made out of these other smaller components, so you have to combine them, and then that's how the whole game is based. Yeah, and then there's, I don't know, 15 different categories that gives you like the level ones that you can solve, and then in order to get unlock the level twos, you have to find the 2 level ones to unlock it, and then eventually it gets level threes, where there's 3 components. I don't know how far this goes, but it's like 300 or 400 puzzles in this game for what, $20. And with the alchemy like component, that kind of gives it a little bit of extra thinking time. It isn't just nonstop puzzles. You've got to create the puzzles out of previously completed puzzles. So that's in my rotation whenever I have nothing going on for 15 or 20 minutes and don't have my Switch nearby. I can play that on Windows. Continuing Persona 3 Reload. I just finished the July full moon. That had I think it was the Hierophant and the Lovers Arcana bosses, and that's what I've always found that story bit amusing. What happens in the hotel with the characters. So if you know what I'm talking about, you know. If you don't, you can look it up. But so this is like, I'm still like less than 30 hours in, and yeah, this is a 100+ hour game. The way I play it, my son somehow beats these things in 65 to 75 hours, but I think most of that is he skips the dialogue, or I'm reading all the dialogue, because the last time I played this game was like 10 years ago.
Well, he's playing multiple versions of it, right? So,
no, he's not, well.
Or no, I'm thinking of something else. Because
I don't know.
Wasn't he playing the game? Or no, he was playing the
Oh, that
Okie
was
Dokie Literature Club on the
that was
different
Okie
consoles.
Dokie.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's a great game.
Yeah. He's platinumed it on an Xbox and a PlayStation 4 and on PlayStation 5, which I didn't know that they were actually separate trophies. But he's on it. He wants to start a 4th playthrough. Just because on his 3rd playthrough he missed a trophy. The trophy he's trying to get is to have max social links of all of them. But what he didn't know was, there's one of the new components, I don't think it was in the original game, is the people can get trapped in Tartarus and you have to save them by a deadline. If you do not, they are gone. And he, thinking there's no trophy associated with saving people, so he was ignoring the saving people part. He found out that one of the people who didn't make it was a social link he was actively pursuing.
Oh no.
He had 9 out of 10.
Oh man.
And so that's because that he now has to start the game over because he's overrode his saves and can't go back. So that's
there you go, kids. A lesson in why you use all those save slots.
Yeah, I also don't normally use
I don't
save slots either.
But if you're doing something like that, maybe it's something to start thinking about.
I always use multiple save slots. I've been burned too many times.
I've used like 3. I haven't used usually more than those.
The only way to save is to manually save once, then to manually save again.
Yep.
To be sure that you manually saved the first time.
Right. Okay. And then the last game I've played, I started Princess Peach Showtime. So I don't know how much we want to talk about yet.
None.
Or if we want to wait. Okay. But so I again, we mentioned it earlier. The entire first floor of the theater I streamed to us on our channel, and then offline I started the second floor, and so I kind of have an idea of how many levels this game has, how many transformations this game has. So I don't know if you want me to share any of this yet, or just we'll wait
Well,
till
I was
next
going to
week.
ask how many. I know from the demo that you get to play the sword fighter and the patissier, but in the first level, first floor, how many transformations do you go through?
4. There's 4 stages on each level, and then when you beat those 4 levels, it unlocks a 5th level, so it's like a mini boss.
Ah, okay,
Beating that then gives you access to the next level up,
cool.
which
gotcha.
then has 4 more levels. You want me to share?
How big are the levels? Because I didn't play the demo. I'm just kind of curious.
They vary. I mean, like I thought the sword fighter level was way more fleshed out and longer than the patissier.
Yeah, I'd say about 10 or 15 minutes per level, maybe
Not bad.
less.
Yeah, and there's collectibles, so if you want to like search every nook and cranny and get everything,
Oh yeah, of course.
then
Oh, that
you
was
missed
the
something.
that was the first thing that already frustrated me is like all the level 1s, there are 10 gems in the to collect. When I collected that, I collected the 4th one. Oh crap, I missed the 3rd. It locks progress. You can't go back. Once you've screen transitioned, you cannot transition back.
Can't go back.
Oh no.
So if I
gotta
want to go back, I do have to do that level over again. So kind of I was hoping I could
Well,
try to backtrack.
If you have to do it all over again, do you have to collect all 10 in one go, or can you? Well, this the third one. Can you go grab and leave? You know.
I don't know. I haven't tried it.
Okay.
Good
Well,
question.
Because that makes a difference. You know, if you can just have to go get the one
I
you're missing.
presume the ones you have collected stay collected.
I would hope so.
I think
wonder-
they do.
Yeah, I wonder if it's something like before where it's just kind of like a dotted line, like if in a Mario game, you know, if you already
Yeah.
collected it and you go back in and the ones you didn't collect, you go get.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah, and
We'll
then
find
every
out.
stage has a bow or a ribbon that can be collected,
Yes.
which adds to, I think, just you can change the design of your dress and your companion's ribbon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
So one thing I did want to mention, without any spoilery details, but the first level is all, the first time of that transformation. So the levels are transformation 1, transformation 2. So in the second level, there is a transformation 2 level. So when you start that level, you start transformed. You don't have to find the transformation pad and transform again. So I got to the boss of that one, and I could not figure out what I needed to do to beat it. And so you die the first time, and it lets you spend 10 coins to try again. When I died the second time, it said, "Do you want to spend all of your coins to mark this level completed?"
Wow.
Oh,
So I said yes. So I presume that also means 0 gems collected. And
Yeah.
0 ribbon if I found it. But at least
Hmm.
At least it allows you to progress.
it's marked as completed. I can progress without being, okay, this is now a stuck point. I'm going to have to Google
interesting.
or find a walkthrough or watch Andre's playthrough from earlier today to figure out how to beat that thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because he's already got videos of every boss in the end game.
Of course he does.
Yeah. He probably had it a week early.
Right.
Well, yeah, he did have it early, yeah, but he also did a live stream of most of the game today, where I only did an hour of it.
Nice.
So
Yeah.
if there are any other questions, about it, I'll answer it. It'll try to not be spoilery, and then we can, talk more about it next week if we want to talk about for what may be spoilery. Since the game
Nice.
comes out in 35 minutes from now.
Yep. Got it.
Yes.
All right, Tim, what have you been playing?
More Balatro, just more of that. Trying to play more of that. Obviously, like we've said, it's a game that you can easily get sucked into, and you can always you make a run and you're like, oh, I think I could do another one. I was close. I think I could do another one, or whatever. So, but I've explained that game before. I think we've explained it several times before, so I won't go over that. Won't bore anybody in that. So, I also been playing Stunt Paradise, which I have a first look video out on our channel for. It is a lot like those bike or motocross games where you have to do tricks, to get through, like almost like platforming
Like
in a way.
Trials?
What's that? The trials,
Trials?
yeah, like trials, yes, exactly. But this is with cars, and it's actually pretty fun. It is very much plays like almost like a mobile game, but obviously it's a little bit better because you have controls with your Switch. But if you go watch the video, I am having a blast. It is just a simple game, just and it progressively gets harder as you progress through the levels. But you earn coins, you can buy new cars and all that kind of stuff. And I haven't bought any new cars yet, so I'm not sure exactly whether or not there's any physics changes to those cars when you're on the course. But the car I have now is I just the crazy stunts you can do in there and have to interact with some of the switches that are in the stunt board to where, like you're hitting a button, you got to back up in order for the things to happen that need to happen after you hit that switch. And then you go back and you have to time it right. And if you don't time it right, you can either get sliced or you get chopped up or whatever. It's crazy. But I was just having a blast. And if you watch the video, like, it's just like, I hope you can tell that I was having a blast. I was just cracking up and having a lot of fun with Stunt Paradise. I forget. Oh, actually, I still have the page up. I was gonna say I forget how much it is. It's $8 on the eShop right now. Just came out today, and again, I have the first look up on our page, and it's stupid fun, and why not? Something quick and easy to jump into and have fun with. The other game, and that was Stunt Paradise, by the way, just to repeat that again, just in case anybody didn't catch it the first time. The other game I've been playing is on this classic, my 3DS. I've been playing Pokemon Y because of the announcement of the new Pokemon Legends game. And also because Retro Logic is doing a retro rewind on that game, Pokemon Y and Pokemon X. I chose Y because the Pokemon Legend character is black and red. So I was like, those are my colors. I'm going to pick that one. But something that I had never played this before. This is my first time playing Y, and I've never played X either. I think that was a generation I skipped, or that was one of the Pokemons I skipped. But I'm actually really enjoying it and actually miss having dual screens. It's amazing how much you miss that stuff. And it's actually fun being able to play it in 3D as well, seeing all the 3D effects that come up on the screen and in the Pokemon game. And graphically it's nice actually. I mean, it's 3DS nice, but it's still nice and it looks great and it does a lot of panning and zooming when you go in certain positions and it it just it's impressive for the system for me. I mean, maybe because I never played it before. It was like pretty nice. And I'm enjoying my time with it right now. I didn't get very far. I just made it to the first major city after getting through the forest, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce these names of these forests and cities right now. But yeah, I just
Yeah,
picked up. I just
yeah.
picked up.
I plan on playing. I think I have X is the version that I own.
Okay.
I bought it back when it was new, and before we started this podcast, and
Yes.
I don't that it is a game I haven't gotten far in. I think I've mentioned before. So I do that is a game I do want to play, and this retro rewind thing is kind of putting it in a higher priority. So it'll probably be a game I start after I'm done with Showtime.
Okay. Yeah, it was the Santa Loon City is where I'm at. Santa Loon. and I just got through what is that, Santaloon Forest? Yeah, Santaloon Forest. And I picked up the 3 different monkeys you can get there. I know that's not their names, but
Like Pansage.
yeah,
Those.
the different elemental ones. Like yeah, the water one, which is Panpour, then Panseer, which is the fire one, and then
Yeah.
the
Pansage is the grass one.
yeah. So I picked up all 3 of those and have them on my team right now. So, and I picked what was the name of that? The bear looking one on
All 3 of them get ugly when they evolve.
Yeah.
Monkey 1, Monkey 2, and Monkey 3.
Exactly. I called him Chester, but that's not his name. What's the character? Chespin. That's the one I picked as my starter. So he is also a grass type. So that's what I've been playing, those 3 games right now. And there was a 4th one I can't talk about, unfortunately.
Aw.
So, like Tim, I've been playing Balatro. I actually won a round this week with the yellow deck. I was getting like 6,000 to 7,000 off each hand that I played. So,
Barry, do you know what Balatro is?
Yeah, that's the poker style game. Yeah, I've heard of it.
Okay.
I haven't
Yeah,
played it.
like I said last week, I was afraid that it was going to be too technical on the poker side. So I didn't even look into it when it came out, but then the PlayStation game trial convinced me to try it, and I'm so glad I did.
The game is really just more Joker heavy in the other side cards more than the poker.
Yeah, and I've learned that your run comes down to like getting jokers. I mean, you absolutely have to have jokers and celestial planet cards, celestial packs, so you can get planet cards are the most important thing. At least it was on the yellow deck run. So now I've unlocked 3 or 4 decks, and I've got lots of stuff going on. So that's really cool. I've also been digging more into Final Fantasy VII Remake, and I was telling the guys before the show, like this was a game that absolutely did not click for me when I first played it back in on release, but now it absolutely has clicked, and I am loving it. I came back to it. I gave it a chance. I tried it with the classic mode, like some people suggested, but I found that I was mashing buttons anyway, so I just switched it to the regular battle style, and it's like I get it. I get the hype now. I don't know that I'm sold on the story because number one, I played Final Fantasy VII as a teenager when it first came out on the PlayStation, so I don't remember a whole lot of the story, but I feel like it's missing or adding stuff
which added a lot.
And I don't know. I just wanted the game remade like it was, but I'm sure there's a reason. I'm sure there'll be a payoff. I don't want to know about it. I don't want to know any spoilers. I'm gonna play this, and I'm gonna buy Rebirth and play it this summer.
Yeah. My understanding, it's like a 30 or 40 hour game, which is a recap of what was the first 10 hours in the PS1 version.
Yeah, so I'm about 10 hours in. So I just got to the Sector 5 slums and beat Shiva to get the summon. So I'm there. I'm escorting Aerith back to the Sector 5 slums and going to meet up with everybody, and it's going to be glorious. The other game that I've been playing that you can go and watch a video about tomorrow on our channel is a game called Sushi Battle Rambunctiously, which came out on the Switch today. And y'all, this is $20. Let me say this before I'm telling you this. This is important. Please do not go on the eShop and waste your money on this game. It's awful. So basically what it is if you took Cake Bash, and which I like Cake Bash. It's a fun game. If you took Cake Bash and the charm, like trying to have the visual charm of Boomerang Fu, and then married that with Gang Beasts, that's this game. You play as Sushi, living Sushi, that's trying to throw items that are on the ground at each other to stun each other, and then pick the other person up and throw them off the map.
I do not like Gang Beast or any of
Y'all,
those type of physical
but I'm
games
just
like
telling
that.
you, just watch, watch the first look. It's I don't even know. Like Tim and Jesse can tell you, I came into the show and I was like, guys,
He was just like,
I was shell shocked at how bad it was.
we had to get him off the ledge.
Like I'm
Yeah.
shell shocked. I'm shocked that people are asking $20 for this game.
He's like,
The-
I
the
hope this
single-
isn't the game Barry's trying to sell physically.
Yeah, the
No.
single player game. The single player game is just you versus zombie sushi, wave after wave of zombie sushi. And when they drop you into the game, they don't tell you there's a tutorial level. You have to find it. And then you play the tutorial level and you figure it out. But I downloaded it earlier today and played it, and I literally had no idea what I was doing. In the single player game, you die in one hit. One. Wave after wave of these, and that's the only single player option there is that I've found to play. Y'all, it's bad. It's just watch the video and stay far away from sushi battle.
That's crazy.
Rambunctiously. I mean, just even that title is.
See, this is why we play test games before we sign them for physical, because we don't do them blind.
Yeah. This is I'm telling you. Like there's a million other games who do this better. And but yeah, just avoid it. And y'all know, if people have been long time listeners of the show, I don't say that about very many games. I try to be positive about every game I play. And there's only been 2 games in the history of me being on Nintendo Dads that I have warned people to stay away from. This is one of them. The other is a game called let me Google this. It's Food Truck something.
Food Truck something.
Not Food Truck Tycoon. That's another game. This is it's like a food truck battle game. Like it's in an arena and you're different food trucks and you shoot stuff at each other.
Like a PlayStation, that PlayStation game, but with food trucks.
You mean Twisted Metal food truck?
Yeah.
No. This is like top down. It was not good. Like
so what you're saying is you want a
like-
combo pack of these 2 games.
No, I don't.
We'll call it the Marty special. Marty's greatest picks.
Please, like if that's what I get known for.
I tried looking up the Metacritic score for this game, and there are no reviews.
Here it is.
Either platform.
Food Truck Arena is the name of this, and I did it back in 2021. There's a Let's Play of it up on our channel, and it's yeah.
Stay away.
Yeah, so there's no Metacritic on Sushi Battle.
It just came out today,
Rambunctiously?
though. So you're only going to get a Metacritic off the bigger sites who, like the AAA stuff. You're not going to get as many on the smaller stuff.
I mean, and it's also on Steam. So if you would like to, I'm sorry, I just can't. There are no reviews for this product on Steam either. So, I did find, like, I thought I guess one positive, the little sushi guys, they're cute. That's about it. So there we go, guys. That's what we've been playing. Let's turn on the community spotlight.
All right. In case everybody didn't notice, we didn't mention anything about events earlier because we've now moved it into this section to talk about events and contests. So as usual, when we talk about events, we talk about Friday Night NSO, or I'm sorry, we don't actually talk about that. That's new. Friday night NSO happens every second Friday of the month at 10 p.m. That's our goal between me, Shannon, and Chris HL, and sometimes Sam from Retro Logic will get together and play some multiplayer games at NSO. You can come play along in Discord or on Steam. But every now and then also you might get a surprise Marty appearance too. He might do an NSO as well. So but definitely we try to get together on the second Friday of every month. That is our goal, to start doing that. Start playing some games that either in the NSO games that we get and on the various list of games there, the classic games, or any of the online games that we can get to. So one of the ones we were looking at is actually Overcooked. So we were looking at playing that one at the next NSO because there's an online portion of that. Also, the table, every third Friday of the month at 10 p.m., the community gets together at the table to discuss whatever is on everyone's minds. If you want to join in, you have to subscribe to us via Patreon or Twitch and get access to Discord and join in. It has been said it is very therapeutic. So, and that's why we don't record those, because that's what happens at the table stays at the table. Dad's After Dark events right now is Balatro Monthly Mayhem, which ends March 30th. So just about a week left of that. Get your stats in. It's the stats that you can go to when you hit the start button, and then or the plus button, and then you go to stats and you get a screenshot of that. You can submit that for your Monthly Mayhem and get on the board to get prizes. And then also, like I mentioned earlier, the monthly Retro Logic Retro Rewind. This time it's Pokemon X or Y. It's going to go until mid-April or longer if needed. And they are running a Pokedex challenge. So the most Pokemon caught wins a $10 eShop card to their eShop of choice. So, and plus, to be fair, you have to start the game new like everybody else did. You can't come in after you've had it beaten and say, here's my Pokedex. It's like you got to start a fresh new file. And then that's the challenge. All right, that's all the events. Let's talk about some of the community questions we got. Starting with the questions we got in Discord. First one comes from Jamie. Let's spin off this question from another question he had. He actually was playing, I think, was it cruising game where he was traveling through the U.S. and we kind of mapped it out because I think he's from Australia. So, but he spins the question and says, tell us some memorable road trip stories. Every year when I was a kid, we used to travel by car to see my grandparents. We would travel down around 600 kilometers or 370 odd miles in a day, stay for a few days, and then return home. It used to be the highlight of our year as I was very close to my grandma. Sadly, she and my grandpa passed away 8.5 years ago within days of each other. She was 95, he was 90. Whenever I think about them, I miss them dearly, but remember all the fun times we used to have. We even got to spend a couple of Christmas holidays together, which was awesome. So, you guys, what was one of your memorable road trips?
Ours was probably a more recent one. Was last summer. We had decided that we were going to do the bucket list trip and go out west to see the Grand Canyon, to go to Las Vegas, to do, Sedona, Antelope Canyon, all that good stuff. And so we drove from West Tennessee through Arkansas, through Oklahoma, through Texas, through New Mexico to Arizona, stayed in Flagstaff for 3 or 4, actually, I think it was 5 nights. And that's where we did Sedona and Grand Canyon, Horseshoe Bend, Antelope Canyon. Then we went up to Las Vegas for the night because my wife and her sister had tickets to go see Garth Brooks at Caesar's Palace in Vegas. And we were just going to be there for the day, do a couple of quick things, and they were going to do the concert. And then, so that night we got there and we said, we were going to take the same route home. And we decided instead to go back through Utah, Colorado, Kansas, Missouri on down. you know, to come back. And so we did a big loop. And the last night before we got home, we actually had dinner with Jesse and his family at a Chinese restaurant there in Kansas
Nice.
City as we stayed there. And so we hit all the sites that we could. I mean, we drove through the Rockies. We you know, just beautiful stuff that, like, you know, I don't know when I'm gonna get to go back out there. You
Right.
know, I
Yeah.
don't know. But we just it was memorable. It was like there were literally, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. There were 13 or 14 of us that were from here. And then we met up with Aaron's other sister who lives in Texas, and there's 5 of them. So there were 20 of us. And we all stayed in this. We all felt like we found a house in Flagstaff that fit everybody. And it was really cool. Like, my mom got to come with us. So that was like her first big trip since dad had passed away. So we got to go out there and do all of that with her. And she had
Nice.
always wanted to go out there. So
That's cool.
I will
Sounds like a
never
hell of a
forget
trip.
that. Oh
Yeah.
man, I'll never forget that trip. It was like a 10 or 12 day trip. And we do we collect Starbucks coffee mugs. The qualification for that is we get them from each state that we've been to. So we had to stop. I think we came home with 8 or 9 Starbucks mugs that we didn't have. So every state that we stopped in, we didn't have one. We had to buy one. And of course, I bought one in Texas because I had the older one and I wanted the newer one that matched. And so we have them all hanging up
Oh, nice.
on this pegboard in our near our kitchen.
Oh, that's cool.
So I mean, we don't even drink out of them. It's silly, but it's just something we like. And
Souvenir.
Yeah.
right, and so it's better than, like, Grand Canyon was amazing. Antelope Canyon was beautiful. Horseshoe Bend, like, you know, I'm not an outdoorsy person at all, but I enjoyed all of it. It was so good. Time with family and, like, the road trip playlist. I mean, we drove the whole way, so we're seeing all of these,
Right.
just the open road and driving in a region that I've never been in before. Just
Had I known you collected those bugs, I would have gotten you a Bahamas one when I was there last year.
But see, the rule is I have to be there.
Oh, you got to do it? Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like that's the only qualification. We have one that we made an exception for because one of my former students bought me one when they lived in Seattle for a while. So they went down to, like, the actual first Starbucks and bought the Seattle mug. And so we make an exception for that.
Of
Oh,
course.
and I mean, like, the Star Wars ones that they did, the Been There Star Wars ones. I mean, like, I've never been to Tatooine, but I have a mug.
Wait, you haven't? Oh, you're missing out.
I
There's-
know.
There's a lot of sand there.
Look, I chose to go to Coruscant instead.
Yep.
What about you guys?
Barry, you got a place? Got a trip?
My biggest, like, I guess one of my most memorable road trips was way back. I was 5th grade, I believe, and we drove down to Florida for a week, again, to visit family. But we had this old van, and I just remember it was me, my uncle, and my grandmother and myself, and the back seat of the van was one of those where the seat would, like, go, it would go front or back, like the middle row. So, like, I remember, like, going backwards because I didn't get car sick at the time, playing Link's Awakening on the Game Boy, you know, just going down this trip. And it's a 21-hour drive for us. So it was a long thing.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
You had the game beat by the time you got there.
Oh yeah. So we made a stop in Virginia to do King's Dominion for the day. So we had some time there, and then we went down to Florida, and then of course we drove back, and it was just like, it was such a wonderful family trip, and just getting to just experience it, because it was my first time really driving that long or riding that long, and especially with family. And south of the border, of course, had to stop in south of the border. Anyone down I-95 knows south of the border and the billboards, and, like, especially as a kid, it was like just like magical, even though the place is not magical. The billboards were more magical than the place. It was just a fun time. And now I absolutely hate road trips. It's funny, like I hate being in the car, and I think that's just because of the area I'm in. Like when you live in an area where everything you can get or need is within 10 minutes or 15 minutes tops, it's like, do I really need to go 30 minutes to some place? Like that's double. Like that you get spoiled by all the conveniences. So it's like, and especially as you get older, and I'm sure you guys have experienced this, like your knees lock up a little bit, and like in the car, your foot gets tired on the pedal if you're driving, and you're cramped up. You gotta like, shimmy and kind of stretch, and suddenly it's like I gotta stop, every so many miles and like stretch my legs. And like my dad used to do that. I'm like, why? Like now I'm like, oh, I get it now. Like I get it. So it's like I just rather fly now at this point if I'm going anywhere.
Yeah, I'm in the
That's great.
same boat as you are. I don't road trip well now. Even as a kid, I wasn't a fan of it, but at least I could tolerate it. I don't have any specific trip in my that was memorable, but I do remember like every summer for a week or two for like at least 5 years, maybe longer. My I grew up in Minnesota in the Twin Cities area. My grandparents owned an RV campground just a bit west of Mitchell, South Dakota. So it was like 6 hour drive. Probably could have been faster if we didn't have to stop so much because we're a bunch of little kids and
Of course.
two kids and my parents.
Yeah.
And we would my grandparents would have their RV set up. They had I think 100 acre plot. No, not 100 acre, but they had 100. They had slots for 100 campers. Are mostly RVs and trailers. They had a small area for tent people, and all the RVs had electrical and hookup and sewage hookup, whatnot. But their RV was in like the worst spot. Just no shade. Because no one wanted it, he used it. So we would sleep in his RV during that week. And I'm just glad the air conditioning
Sounds
worked
like a
in
very
that.
smelly RV in the baking in the
Yeah.
heat.
Oh, especially and this is like the farthest camping spot in, so like you can see the fence line of where the next property is, which was like cows and hay, and
Oh
it stunk.
God.
Oh man,
If the wind blew wrong, it stunk.
man,
That's what makes it memorable, though, right?
that's crazy. I actually have a couple of road trip stories that are similar to both Marty's and Barry's. Because one's a kid's story. I'll try to make this quick too. So Barry, like Barry's story, kid trip. My grandparents and my parents uh figured out a way for us all to drive down to Florida. That was my first time going as well. We did a road trip, and it was a blast. And obviously my first time going to Disney World and all that kind of stuff too. So it's just so memorable, especially going there and going with family. And then we also did some stops along I-75. So for anybody who listens that's outside of the United States, going from Michigan, where we are, my family going down I-75 down to Florida, going through the states from Michigan to Florida was for a kid that's, lots of cool stuff, even through the flat areas of the United States. So it was still pretty cool. And then we'd stop at things like the mystery cave or something like that. So it was like pretty cool. And I got some like little gems that I could get down, in the mystery cave or whatever. So it was pretty fun. And then Cracker Barrel was my favorite place to go to every time along the way. Still to this day, I love going to Cracker Barrel. So but then the other thing I did as I got older, and had my own job and all that kind of stuff, I had a couple friends who, they went to a university here in Michigan that, they, were, what was it? Civil justice, I think it's called, courses that they took and stuff. So, but they wanted to apply to become police officers in Arizona, but they wanted to drive straight through and they needed a third person to go. So they were like, even though I had no interest in applying to be a police officer, they asked if I had the capability of going. And I did, and I'm glad I did because we got to drive kind of the same route that Marty did, where we went one way, and we took the southern furthest route to get to Phoenix, Arizona. And then when we were done there and spent some time there, we drove around through back. We took a long way around going through California, San Diego. Actually stopped there to go to Tijuana, and that's a story in itself. And then and then leave from there to go up through Utah and Colorado and all that kind of stuff, kind of like what Marty was talking about. But of course back to Michigan. So two great road trip stories that I will always remember and had a lot of fun with. So uh, but great question, Jamie. That was a long one for all of us to answer. Uh, Quagmire asks, "Hey Nintendo dads, I just started Immortal Phoenix Rising on the Switch, and about 6 hours in, I'm really impressed. I wrote this game off at launch being a Breath of the Wild clone, and while it shows heavy inspirations from it, it does a lot of great things. The humor, movement kit, combat are just a few things I think did better than Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom. Jury is still out on how the rest of it is, but my question is there a game that most people say copied another, but the imitation actually did certain aspects better than the copied original game?"
Yeah,
Ooh.
there's quite a bit of them.
Ooh. That's a great question.
Yeah, I have one.
Go for it.
I mean, I agree. Immortal Phoenix Rising is fantastic. I played it at launch and absolutely loved it, and I think it's a shame so many people didn't. But one I'll say is Torchlight. Diablo is such a staple game and really almost created that genre. And a lot of people say it's a Diablo clone, and Torchlight was a shameless Diablo clone, but it did certain things better. And one of the
Well, wasn't
biggest
it
things,
developed by some of the
it was,
former
yeah, former. But one of the things that
Blizzard
made it so
developers?
cool was you had the pet system. So like if you were in Diablo and you were, raiding down the dungeon on your way to hell and you filled up your inventory, you had a scroll of town portal to go back and sell stuff.
Yeah.
And with the pet, you can literally just you load up its inventory with the stuff and tell it to go back to town for you, and it will go back to town and sell your stuff. So you don't have the pet to assist in fighting for a bit, but it allows you to keep going in the dungeon and keep looting, and eventually the pet comes back and delivers the money you have. And it was something so simple, but it changed the flow of the game and made it that much better.
Nice. How about you, Marty? It looks like you got one in mind.
I'm trying to think.
Okay.
Honestly, I mean, besides, Garfield kart racing, just destroyed Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Um, Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl. No. I don't,
PlayStation All-Stars?
I'm sure that there are some out there that I've said before, but I just can't think of any right now. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I'm drawing a blank myself too. Maybe that's something we can come back to
Yeah.
if we can think of
Final
something.
Fantasy and
Well,
Dragon Quest.
Yeah, they kind of feed off each other over sequel to sequel.
Yeah.
I think I haven't played it myself, but we've talked about Pal World in previous episodes. That could qualify.
It could,
Yeah.
but also like then like the user base like disappear from Power World just as quickly as it appeared.
Right. Just to say they tried it
It
or
was a
something.
fad. It was that's all it was.
Well, my understanding of that is it's a game that really didn't have an ending, but it didn't really have a path forward either. It just got boring, and you once you saw everything, then you fall off, which makes sense. So there's room to grow or room to write an ending.
So I Googled this just now, and I do think that there are two that kind of come to mind that they're on this list that I found. That I won't say they're direct copies, but definitely like they inspired by, and then they did it better. This might be blasphemous, but I'm going to say it. I think Streets of Rage does that genre better than Final Fight.
Oh no, I could see that.
I mean, I could see that.
Yeah.
And I also think that Yes, DuckTales is a fantastic game, and if you know, you know. NES DuckTales is amazing, but man, Shovel Knight really took that and
Oh,
and blew it out of the water, right?
I mean, that's
And
also
really the
you're
and really also like the Mega Man. Now I won't say like it's not full on like select your boss and whatever, but like just it felt very Mega Man-y at times, and like I love that it took that.
yeah, that's definitely decades of difference in time and modern
Absolutely.
technology. Like
Absolutely.
Shovel Knight couldn't run on the NES, like even though it's the style.
No,
But
but I mean I think that like it took like you could definitely see the influence,
oh
right?
yeah. Well, I
So
mean, I'll one up you and I'll say Cathedral's even better than Shovel Knight. And it has the same similar pogo kind of deal.
yeah. Yeah. Another one that comes to mind is an old TurboGrafx 16 game called
Nice.
Newtopia. That
Oh
is
yeah,
basically the Legend of Zelda,
but
but
not as good.
not as good, but I thought it did some things well.
Oh yeah, it
So,
absolutely did things well.
it was 16-bit Zelda before Link to the Past came out.
Uh-huh.
So it definitely beat it to the punch there. If you ever get a chance to play it, I think you should play it just
Oh,
because
it's a good game.
some of it's really fun and the music's really good. I think it's an overlooked gem.
Ebicel says, please don't bring up Pogo the Clown.
Congratulations on bringing it up.
Yes, you brought it up. It's your fault now.
Right? Right?
All right. Darth Platypus asks, I got to see Charles Martinet at a convention this past weekend, and it was pretty awesome. What video game person would you like to be able to meet?
Charles is great to me. He's a wonderful person. Miyamoto, I'd say. I met
Yeah.
Ianuma. He's awesome, but I would love to meet Miyamoto.
Miyamoto's the guy for me. Absolutely.
It would be
Kondo.
really cool if I could speak Japanese and meet him.
We'll get Bill Trin in there.
Yeah,
He'll
that's true.
translate.
But I would say Reggie, I think, would be pretty cool to meet too.
Yeah.
And he's not necessarily in the video game industry anymore, but
Doesn't
still
matter.
plays. So that'd be cool.
It's
Jesse, did you
like
have anybody?
I said Koji Kondo.
Koji, okay.
oh yeah, Koji Kondo.
Nice. And Barry, did you say somebody?
Yeah, Miyamoto.
Miyamoto too. That's right. You did. Okay. Sorry, we were all throwing names out. I didn't quite, and I was trying to think of one myself. So, all right. Making sure everybody got their names in. All right. Mecca asks, if you still get physical games, do you get them either on Amazon or a popular outlet like Best Buy or Target, or a mom and pop game store like Digital Press or Video Games New York?
Oh, somebody's from my area. If they mentioned Digital Press.
Yes. Yeah, Mecca was actually at the meetup too when we were there. And
Oh, okay, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
he was the one
Yeah.
that brought the he was the one that brought the coffees
Oh,
and coffee and
oh, okay.
donuts.
Yes. Yeah, I was gonna say you mentioned Digital Press. He's definitely in the area.
Yeah.
So
So
for
we're
me, that's gonna have to be Walmart because GameStop left. They closed their location in our area. The closest one's now 30 minutes away. So we have Walmart.
yep.
That's it. So, but the reality of it is that between digital vouchers and codes, I don't actually buy mini games physically anymore.
Right, right.
Um, now I will say that I do buy them for my son. He likes to have a physical copy, and usually he's like, "Hey, will you pick me up a?" And I think he likes to have it so that he could trade with his friends
Yeah,
to have a
for
Switch,
sure. Yeah.
and also be able to trade in if he wants to. But he hasn't bought a Switch game in forever, which is kind of sad.
Nice. All right. Anybody else?
Yeah.
Yeah, premiumeditiongames.com. Duh. That's where you get it.
That's what I was waiting for. I was
You
waiting
have
for
to.
that one.
No, for me, I honestly use Amazon most, and that's mainly because Amazon tells you if you purchased it before. And when you pre-order a lot of games, it's very handy to know, oh, I've already pre-ordered this, even
Mhm.
though they're not always the best, and a lot of times they come late. And if it's a game I really want to play on day one, I will absolutely do Best Buy and Amazon. And whichever one comes first, I'll play, and I'll just return the other one because they both have really no hassle returns, and I don't mind it if it's a game I really want to play. just to be able to get it sooner.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's whatever has the best pre-order bonus. Like if GameStop has a better pre-order bonus or Best Buy has, like, I'll pre-order for a Steelbook at Best Buy, or if GameStop has something else, then I'll do GameStop. But otherwise, everything's premium edition games.com.
There you go.
Yeah. While I do have like 3 GameStops within a 10-mile drive from my house that I don't go into, because I buy everything digital. I don't really. If I buy something physical, it's because of some sort of collector's edition. So that's why I own like 4 physical games and 400 digital games on my Switch.
Yeah. And for me, I don't have any one-stop shop anymore. It just depends on what is being offered from what place. So, like the Raji game, I got it from the premium store because of that. So they had a nice collector's edition there. Yeah, you got that one. So, or if GameStop has one because of like what Barry said, because of some pre-release bonus. Yeah, I bought that from Play Asia myself, because I got a copy of that from Play Asia before I think we found out we were going to get one in the US, because at first I thought we weren't going to get one.
Well, we
So,
got one, but it was super limited, only at like
yeah,
2 o'clock in the morning.
true.
And I happened to be up at that time. And
Yeah.
I bought the $200 bundle.
Yeah, I got the big one.
Nice.
Had to get that lithograph slipcover.
Yep. So I've been trying to get a lot of physical copies because of like I have
And
this
the
wall.
LP that I don't have a player for.
I try to get physical copies because of the that allows kids, my kids to be able to play it in the house, or my wife, or I now have my nephews that come over and they bring their Switch and they'll go to that wall and basically play whatever I have on there that they're allowed to play. So I don't necessarily collect them to get a collection of Switch games, but it's probably my biggest game collection I've ever owned on the Switch. So, but again, it doesn't matter which place. It just depends on where I'm at, what they're offering, and I'll pick it up probably. So, all right, great question, Mecca. And the last one we got is a voicemail from Christian.
Hey guys, it's me, Christian. I just wanted to call and ask you a quick question about movies. Now, I just wanted to ask you guys, are you excited for any of the movies that are coming out this year? Non-Disney and also non-Marvel movies. So my movie that I'm excited for, definitely Ghostbusters and Beetlejuice. That's going to be super awesome. I can't wait to see them. All right, I hope you guys have a great show tonight. I'll talk to you later. See ya.
It's so ironic that he asked that, because my wife and I were actually having a conversation about this tonight as we were driving my daughter to dance, about how there is literally nothing that makes me want to go to the theater anymore. Like, I just watched Dune for the first time a couple of weeks ago, loved it, and I was kind of excited about going to the theater. I'll just wait till it comes to streaming.
Yeah. I did. Okay. I didn't. I would. I'll be I'm being careful about my words here. I went to see it in the theater, but ended up falling asleep through most of it.
Wow. Okay. Well, listen, valid. The
Same with Morbius.
Ghostbusters movie. I was kind of excited about, but then I started seeing reviews for it, and IGN gave it a 4. And I kind of trust their reviews more than others. So I'll probably wait for it to come home too, like to some streaming service. I don't know. Like, we do have $5 days at our local theater, and we've got a 1-screen theater here in town that does movies for $7 a ticket, which is really cool. They're local, just local business, and they have newer stuff. So we may go, but I don't know. Like, we don't have a lot of time to go to the theater anymore. I'd rather just watch it at home, like in my recliner.
Yeah, there's for us, my wife and I, we have to really want to see it in the theater. I really like seeing action movies or big production movies in the theater. So I would go every week probably if I could. if there's a movie available, I should say. But I those two movies for sure. The Ghostbusters I want to see, um, especially if you can't count any of the Marvel stuff that you mentioned or Disney stuff.
I'm still going to say I do want to see Deadpool.
Of
Yeah,
course.
I definitely want to see that. Um, there's there's actually a lot of movies I want to see, but whether or not we get a chance to go see it in the movies is not necessarily because we want to or not. It's just if we just can we get away? Because the other thing too is I'm a night owl. My wife is a morning person. She's the one that you guys were talking about, like how you get up early in the morning, and no matter if there's an alarm clock or not, she's the same way, but she's a morning person. I'm a night person. So if we try to go see a movie, she's got to wake me up because that's the time she's going to be able to see the movie without falling asleep because we can't go at night anymore.
Yeah.
Shoot for the weekend afternoon matinee.
Right, or something like that. Yeah.
That's usually that's normally what we do.
We try to
I
do
used
that.
to get really excited to go see every Marvel movie in the theater, but like the Marvels, we didn't go see it. We didn't go see Wakanda Forever in the theater. I think the last Marvel movie I saw in the theater was the Eternals, so that could explain something.
Well, the two you missed were better movies than Eternals. I can tell you.
I've seen them now. Like I've watched them on Disney Plus, but I'm already I've kind of gotten to a point where I'm like, I'm already paying for these streaming services and movies are coming out so quick on those. Why go and pay for a movie ticket?
Yep. That's why that's what I mean is like the experience now too. So it's like if the movie is going to give me a bigger experience than I can watch at home, then I'll do that.
Yeah.
So, but it's gotta be a draw to really get me to both of us to go.
See, I wanted going to see.
I wanted to see Five Nights in the theater. Never got around to it, and even though it's been on now its second streaming service, I still haven't seen it.
We watched it at home.
Go ahead, Barry.
Yeah, see, I like going to the theater. It's something my wife and we always love. We do the matinees because it's cheaper and tickets are so stupid expensive, and we love the superhero movies. So of course he says no Marvel. Of course Deadpool is the one I want to see the most.
Right.
But it's weird now, obviously with a child. It's like you can't just go. And since we've had my son, we've only saw one movie in theaters, which was the Marvels, and we had a babysitter. And it's especially like Deadpool. I told my wife, I said like Deadpool I have to see opening weekend because that's gonna be spoiled. Like I use the internet too much. That's gonna be spoiled.
Oh sure. Yeah.
I do not want to get spoiled. I hate being spoiled. I want surprises. I love surprises. Don't ruin a surprise for me. And unfortunately, people on the internet I have to be the first person in the world to say whatever, and they think they get some kind of trophy on it when they don't. And like you guys, Ghostbusters. If we'd never kid, we would have been seeing Ghostbusters this weekend. But now it's like I'm gonna wait till I get the Blu-ray because I still get all my movies Blu-ray that I want to see and want to own because I don't trust streaming services. They take stuff away too, and I want to make sure I can watch my favorite movies whenever I want to watch my favorite movies. Everyone else be damned. So Ghostbusters will be Beetlejuice. Very much looking forward to that. I love the original. I'm trying to think. Like I know it's not like MCU, but Craven. I actually think Craven looks like it has promise. Even though I'm not sure what Sony's Spider-Verse is all about.
Well, Madam Web is already streaming.
Is it? Paid streaming. It's not on a streaming service.
Oh, it's not on streaming service.
It's like video on demand.
You can rent it.
Yeah, I'm not going to rent it. I'm going to get the Blu-ray. I'll wait.
I did see that in theaters too. I didn't think it was horrible, but it wasn't great.
Yeah. And it's just like this year I feel like there's not as much for me. Like even Dune, we watched Dune, Dune 2, we're waiting for that to come out and streaming, and we'll watch it on Max or whatever.
And the weird thing about it here is like I see all these posts of people who are like, oh man, I went to see it in the theater and I bought the limited edition popcorn bucket.
Oh,
like I've seen the Ghostbusters Ghost Trap popcorn bucket, which is super cool. The Optimus Prime one that Tim has. Those literally were nowhere, even in West Tennessee. I don't even know that they were in Middle Tennessee, which is where Nashville is. We don't have those theaters. So like it's very hard to get that stuff here. And so any hype that we would have for anything like that is out the window. So, I can't remember, like the last movie that I saw in the theaters was The Iron Claw, sometime around, I guess it was Christmas after Christmas when that came out. That is not a feel good movie. It was very depressing. Like I just left. I was like, wow, that sucked. Not the movie. The movie was fine, but just the whole story, like you just leave feeling like you've just binge watched the entire series of Breaking Bad,
Right.
Well, I don't even know much about what's coming other than
Yeah.
the movies I know I'm interested in. Like,
There's-
Ghostbusters, Beetlejuice, Deadpool. I don't know of what else
There's
is
a
even
lot of
coming.
movies. There's a lot I'm interested in. So don't get me wrong. There's things that it's like, okay, I want to see them, but is it enough to get me into the theater? So, and even some of the cartoon movies, like I want to see like Despicable Me 4. I love those movies. Those are hilarious.
they're
But
fun.
am I going to go to the theater to see it? My kids are all grown up. So
Yeah, when my kids were littler, it was a big deal to
Yeah.
go see the new Disney movie in theaters. But now they're not. Like if they'll probably one will go and the other will say no. And
Yeah,
Right.
I haven't really cared about a Disney movie in a decade.
there's
Although
a new Godzilla and Kong movie coming out. I want to see
Oh yeah, that I
that.
want to see that.
Inside Out 2 is coming out. I'll probably want
That
to go see
one,
that in the
yes.
theater. But
There's a new Mad Max movie coming out for Ferosa Mad Max Saga.
yeah,
A new Planet of the Apes movie.
have they still
yeah.
not gotten off that one planet?
Kingdom
Well,
of the Planet of the Apes.
It's just the titles keep getting.
What is this, like
bigger,
the 7th movie now
That-
in that
that
franchise?
applied-
Empire of the Kingdom
Well,
of the
no, there were like
Planet of
5
the
original
Apes.
ones,
Yeah.
and now I think
Revenge
there's
of
another
the
4.
Kingdom.
This
But why would they want to get out the planet? The planet's here. We don't want to get out the planet.
Apes strike back on the Planet of the Apes and the Empire of the Kingdom of
Well,
the.
don't forget about the
Apes.
Tim Burton remake. That's non-canon.
All of them are just this very sallow, just real drawn out
Garfield the
apes.
movie. I kind of want to see that, but I might wait for that to come out.
Again. There's our good friend Chris Pratt. He's there in that movie too. He's Garfield. He's Mario. He's Emmett. He's
Kung Fu Panda 4.
He's in that movie too. He's the voice of the panda.
Oh, that's Jack Black.
No, it's Chris Pratt.
Chris Pratt is everywhere.
Chris Pratt is now the voice of every character in Hollywood in entertainment. Optimus Prime, all of them. I would love to hear Chris Pratt do Optimus Prime. That would be just
It would be funnier if he was doing Optimus Prime and Megatron and they were talking to each other.
Hey guys, it's I just want to have a barbecue. I don't know. It's everybody.
Barbecue?
It's Chris Pratt. Yeah. Well, guys, that great question, Christian. Thanks for calling in with that. We're going to close out the show here, episode 470. We want to thank you for hanging out with us tonight and for just, tons of people checking us out live as we record this. And shout out to all of you guys who hung out with us tonight, but also to you who's listened to us on the audio version of the podcast as well. And we want to say a huge thanks to our Patreon producers, Dave Ernsberger, Jacqueline Amira, and RJ Kern, as well as our 90 plus other patrons. Thank you guys for keeping the lights on over here at Nintendo Dads HQ. And a special thank you to 17 of you who are Twitch Prime subscribers, over 1,400 Twitch followers, and shout out to our 5 away from 7,400 YouTube subscribers. You guys, you're awesome. Basically, what we're trying to say, thank you to everybody. We wouldn't be here if it weren't for you. And Barry, we want to thank you, give you a special thank you for being on the show tonight. Thanks for all you do for game preservation over at Premium Edition Games. And you guys be sure to tune in to their latest direct on March 25th at 8 p.m. Eastern. So check that out. It's coming up in the next couple of days. Be sure to head over to nintendodads.org for lots of cool stuff like Spotify podcast feeds of all of our shows, including Dads After Dark and the Retro Logic family of podcasts, our latest YouTube videos and tweets, Patreon, Extra Life, and more, including merch, where you can get stuff celebrating our 10-year podcast anniversary this year. And don't forget, check us out or go to our sponsors, Manscaped.com and FactorMeals.com. Over at Manscaped.com, you can get 20% off your order with free shipping by using the code NINDADS. And at FactorMeals.com, 50% off your first order with the code NINDADS50. Be sure to send us a voicemail at 929-25-NDADS. That's 929-256-3237. You've got about a week left to enter the contest for the Impact of Awada book that we'll be giving away. You have to enter with a voicemail by March 31st, and if it's your first time, you get 2 entries. You can also email us at nintendodads@gmail.com. And we want to say a big thanks to OC Remix for the music used throughout the show. And a reminder, download us from your favorite podcast app of choice, but leave us a 5-star review and some comments to help people find the show. For me, for Jesse, for Tim, and for Barry, this has been episode 470. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Nintendo Dads.
Do you know who I am? Nintendo Dads.